community.
Oh yeah.
Other things, they're there for the content.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, welcome in everybody to the Church.digital Gaming Outpost podcast. I'm super excited to get PreePonee and be able to chat and just kind of talk about what you've been up to, what you're doing, how you got started being on Twitch, and anything else that the conversation goes. So, feel free as people are in the chat. We're here to engage with chat as much as we can. Now, we get engrossed in a conversation. We're probably not going to jump back and catch up on stuff that we missed. Becomes really cumbersome sometimes. But otherwise, if it's something important, we do want to address it. We do want to, check in on it. If we have raids or other things that happen, we'll pause and do whatever you normally do on your side. To welcome people in and give them the time that they deserve for coming in with a raid or, subs and all of those kinds of things, hype trains. We want to treat that like this is Twitch. That's what we're here for. We're not going to just ignore people. We want to have the whole Twitch experience while we're here. So.
Great. I was wondering, do I just not do those things? That's fine if I don't, but.
No, I feel like the people that are going to watch it later and listen are going to finally go, I need to go watch these live because I'm always missing out on part of what's going on in the conversation, in the different little things. And then if it's on your side and they can't see it when I post it, they're really going to wonder what it was and hopefully go check it out. So
awesome.
So I usually start with, and it can be, a whole bunch of different things. But how did you initially get on Twitch? And it doesn't even mean how did you start streaming? Just like, hey, how did you get connected? Because some people watch for a long time and then they decide to stream. And then if they did go right away into streaming, well, did you initially decide you were going to stream Christian content and be openly, sharing your faith? Or was that another journey? So just kind of like, open us up with how did you get connected on Twitch and how did that journey get started for you?
So my journey starts similar to a lot of people. It started in 2020 when I'm a people person and I have done ministry work since I was 18 with the organization that I'm still with now. And I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 34. So it's been a long time. And when 2020 hit, I just really missed people. And 2020, I was pregnant with my first child that I had.
Oh.
So but it was very isolating because not only was the world shut down for, and we weren't supposed to go see each other, I was one of those people that was especially not supposed to see people.
Right, absolutely.
So it felt very isolating. And so I ended up like Googling, because I had seen, it's actually really funny because I had in the past kind of made fun of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always gamed and not like big fun, but
well, you're not the only one.
We were playing Xbox and with my husband because we gamed like every day, and before kids when we had all that free time, and I saw people like on Xbox they used to put like people that were just streaming their game,
yeah,
and I was like, what are those? Are those like ads for games? Like, why is there a person there? My husband's like, don't you know what that is? Like people stream, like it's them playing the game, and they're just. I was like, okay, and people are just watching them play a game.
That was what like my son watched lots of people play, and I'm like, do you know them? No. Why are you watching them? Like, I mean, I understand and I understand now, but I mean, at that time, I would understand. I'm stuck at a spot. I want to go find out how to get past this spot. Let me go YouTube that and find out how to accomplish the thing I can't figure out. And then I'm done and I'm back to playing the game. That was, or you go to the different, was it IGN that had all the guides and all of that? Like, I knew where the guides were, but I didn't understand why I would watch somebody else play a game when I could be playing. So I'm totally tracking with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, that was that. And then was one day I remember telling my husband, like, oh, I think that would be really fun to do, actually. And then I just never did anything with it. And prior to being married, I was a YouTuber. So I don't know why I thought it was that weird. I didn't stream gaming. I was a vlogger back when
Oh, yeah, yeah.
people just literally you film talking about nothing. And for some reason,
Yeah,
you made friends.
My daughter did that. I can't remember what year it was, if it was high school or college, where she did, I'm going to vlog every day.
Yeah.
And
yes,
and share
did like Vlogmas and
yes.
Yeah, and that was for me. That was in 2009 that I was really doing that a lot. 2009 to 2014, and I was a partnered YouTuber before Google owned it. I had a contract and all that, but I stopped when I got married. And so anyways, and then I see people streaming and I was like, that kind of looks weird, but I actually secretly think that's kind of cool. And then I'm telling my husband, and then I kind of, when it was COVID and I was isolated and I was in my first trimester, I had the saddies. So he ended up buying me the Elgato capture, game capture card.
Yeah.
And I like this. So this was June 2020. I looked up stuff because I knew you were going to ask this question. And this year,
I'm not worried about precision here. So you could have told me any number, and I'd have been fine.
I had to wrap my mind around it because it was it was like dipping my toe in.
Yeah.
And that took forever. And then it was like head first. And I was like, I couldn't remember when I dipped my toe and how long that was. And when I would say that, like, yes, I was like fully in and doing this. And I actually wanted to know that for myself. So this month is my 4-year streamiversary from when I say I really started. So June 2020 is the first time I ever streamed, I would say. But it was only 2 hours for that month, right? And then July was only 11 minutes. And then
11
August
minutes?
was 4 hours.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Like, that's the stream I want to know. What happened? Like, 11 minutes.
Exactly.
Did you push go live?
And I wrote down, I had one average viewer. I had 2 max. And then with the 11 minute, I had 1.5. Half that guy was there. That was great. 2 max. And it was like that for like a long time. And then and then I did that for that summer because in August I streamed for 4.5 hours. And then I gave it up. Like I didn't do it. And January I had my baby. And that's when I started really watching a lot of Twitch. Okay. That's when I became a Twitch consumer. Because I had my baby and I was home and I still wasn't allowed out in public. And it was just a lot of holding the baby, rocking the baby. And I fed them the natural way. So it was a lot of time of just like feeding the baby sleeps, you're still in the chair, the baby wakes up, it's time to feed, the baby goes to sleep. So Twitch was really great in that way. I just put my, my AirPods in and I felt like I was with somebody. And it was almost damaging because I didn't see I didn't find a lot of Christian people. And so I felt like these people are nice, but maybe I don't belong here because I live in because I've done ministry for so long. I'm aware of my Christian bubble and like it's safe in my Christian bubble. Like even doing ministry, like you have kids come to programs and you meet people, but it's not the same as being out there on the internet. Yeah. And I can't separate. I can't be anything but Christian at this point. That's just like who I am. So I thought like maybe I don't belong here. And then I started finding some Christian streamers who I won't mention, but they even had in their rules, like they were tagged Christian and they were like larger Christian streamers at that time in 2021. But they even had in their rules that we don't talk about faith. Oh, and I was like, that seems so weird, but that was just no shame. Like that was like how people felt like they could survive back then, I guess. So I just became a really big like Twitch consumer. And then I met this streamer, which you might have known because she was a really big daytime Christian streamer with a lot of energy. And I know you're a daytime Christian streamer, but it was Homeschool Mom.
Yes.
And I absolutely I don't want to say loved her, but she just isn't streaming currently, but I love her and I loved her community and everyone was welcome there. Not everyone there was Christian, but people were open about being Christian there. Right. And she over time became more open about being Christian. And she's the one that where I met and I saw a lot of the same. I mean, I'm kind of goofy too, but also serious.
What?
But can also be like, pretty deep about some things. And I felt like, okay, wait, maybe there is space for me here. And then I became one of her mods, and I eventually started streaming myself. So, and then when I started streaming, it was like when I really started streaming, because I have all these months leading up to it, like once every month I stream for 3 hours kind of thing. But it was the end of September that I let's see, back page.
And
end of September.
I lost your cam again. There you go. You're back.
Is that better?
You're back. Yes.
Okay. So what I did, just if someone else has this issue, I'm trying to I think how my camera's trying to catch up. I went to my settings, camera.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no. Performance.
Yeah.
And I put it down lower.
Okay. It pixelated again.
Yeah.
So it was fine for a minute. And there we go. Now it's back.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to look on my side. So apparently it must be, it's probably a Twitch problem. I'm going to guess what it is. So what did you drop the setting to?
I just dropped it now. Well, I dropped it to medium, and you said it was back, and then you said it went away again, so that I just put it to low.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know, how low you put it. Yeah, it's stable. It looks like.
Yeah.
Crossing Tommy, welcome in.
Great.
Zacchaeus, welcome in. Dark Picks. Just saying hi to a few people coming in. Crossing Tommy, thank you for the follow. So.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to ignore you. If it was anyone else, I would talk over them. Good.
Okay.
So, cool.
Yeah, so you were talking about the slow process
end of September,
and the watching of people. What's interesting is I just went live 1 day a week when I started, not knowing I was ever going to do anything more than that. Like, that's what my thought was. All right, I can do this 1 day a week. That's enough. I wasn't trying to really be anything, but I had lots of people asking me, when are you going to go live, that I was in their communities, and kept asking. So I'm like, fine, I'll show you it's not worth watching me. So, I'm glad we got that fixed. So you started gradually doing some stuff. You're
like one stream a month for a year. But then end of September in 2021, I decided I'm going to really do this. And I'm someone that, when I do it, I do it.
Yeah.
And so I actually streamed every single day for 3 months.
Oh, wow. I've never tried to do that.
Just an hour. But I streamed every single day at the same exact time. It was 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every single day for until the new year came. And that was the most, I think that was percentage-wise as well. Like, that is the most growth I ever did, and probably will ever do.
Mm-hmm.
Just with that consistency. But yeah, and here I am, not every day. That was some lessons along the way, but.
Well, the most I did every day was last month.
Oh, really?
I missed 2 days last month.
Oh, really?
Yes. So part of it was I finally got to do something I've wanted to do since I started streaming, and that was stream riding my bicycle. And I finally figured out how to get that. Yeah. So I was super excited. So in September, I ride each year to help support fighting kids' cancer. So if I don't ride every day, it becomes cumulative of, you have to get your miles in if you don't ride. So I went away for one weekend, and I missed a day because the hotel we were staying at didn't have a bike. I was just going to do a stationary bike one day, and they didn't even have that. It's like, are you kidding me? I paid at a good hotel to have good stuff, and your workout is just for people that want to run. I don't want to run. So I missed that one. And then I didn't stream the last day of the month because I'd already made my goal, and then it was a little dreary outside, and I wasn't feeling well, and I'm like, okay. So that's the closest I've come, is like 14 days in a row and then turn around in 14 days in a
Yeah.
row again. So
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome though.
it was awesome. It was super cool. Now and then there's now I'm still recovering from all of the activity and what I didn't do and what's been left undone. And I'm so glad that while I was doing all of that, I had like the month of October already scheduled out for podcasts, because it's like, oh, do I have someone? Oh yeah, I've got somebody. We're all set. We're good to go. So when you started, so you're trying different things,
Mhm.
and you're intentionally Christian. What was your approach to doing things? Was it, I'm gaming and I'll share my faith? Was it, I'm going to do some Bible things? What was your initial idea, and then how has that evolved for you as you've learned and grown as a streamer?
So I didn't have a plan. I knew that I was going to be authentically me. And to be honest, I didn't think about it as a ministry at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I more so saw it, I guess, in I did want to be a light in a dark place. That's something that I've always said. I spent 4 years working at McDonald's, and that was the attitude I had when working there. Is like, I'm just gonna be a light in a dark place, and that's okay. And I thought that about Twitch as well in the gaming atmosphere. But I wasn't like, and this is going to be a ministry, and it's going to have the same people that start coming in, and I'm going to build friendships, and we're going to have Bible studies, and people are going to come to the Lord. That just all kind of
Right.
like, I guess God knew that, but I didn't know that. I didn't have a plan like that. I didn't have like a schedule for my stream, because my day job is very schedule based. I'm a youth ministry director. I co-direct with my husband for a diocese that serves just over 100 churches. So we do a lot of programs, and we also run an overnight Jesus camp. So everything is very structured, like very timetable schedule when we have a program. And in almost a selfish way, in a selfish way,
Oh yeah.
streaming for me also was a space um, for me, and to not have an agenda. And when I did share scripture, when I started implementing things slowly. So I didn't have a plan to begin with. I just knew I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell people that I'm a Christian when they come in. I'm going to allow conversations of faith,
Right.
and people who don't share my faith. It's going to be a safe place where we can have healthy conversations with differences. That was my only plan, if you'd say I had a plan. And then I started incorporating things like one of the first things I did was a channel point redemption of Share the Good News, which we still have. And what I would do is I just kind of, what you're not supposed to do, but randomly open the Bible and read a verse, and then just kind of talk about it. And that was like the first thing that I did. And so now it's elevated to the start of every stream. We typically do prayer. We do Share the Good News, where we're working through a devotional, and we talk about it, and more things like that, more intentional. But that isn't how it started. It's just what it grew to be. Because I will say also, when I started when I just became a new mother, and family is number one for me, and I'm so glad that I have it, and it's the number one thing. But when you become a wife, you give up your last name, and when you become a mother, you give up your first name. Right? You're no longer
Right.
like, my name's Kate. I was no longer Kate. Like, if somebody calls, I don't say my kids' names on stream, but I say what they start with. So A, right? So they'll call and they'll say, "Is this A's mom?"
They don't call you Mama Pony?
No, they don't. But my community tries to call my husband Papa Pony, and I won't let them. And he changed his name in our Discord and everything to be Papa Pony. No. No, you got them started. But yeah, so streaming was a space for me where I felt like I also just had my own identity.
Right. Absolutely. And that, yeah, I'd not thought of it that way, but that is interesting. I'll just give you a really interesting example of this. So my best friend from high school, his grandmother just passed away. And so I got asked to do the graveside for the family and to step in. I was really honored to jump in and do that. And he was going, I don't know how to pronounce her name because I've only ever called her grandmother. So you'll have to ask my mom how to pronounce her name.
Yeah, because that's just what, and it's a blessing, and that's, I wouldn't want to be anything other than A and E's mommy, but there's also, there's sacrifice in that, which is beautiful, but it's nice to have a space where I could just be me. And also when you think of ministry as well, you get viewed a little differently. And so it was nice as well to have a space where people didn't know me as,
Right.
part of the bishop's staff. Like, I get to just, like, I'm not going to show up to the bishop's meeting in a wig, although he might be fine with it. But you know what I mean? But I can do that
What?
here.
No?
It's in context and it's fine.
Yeah.
Though I did find out that he's one of my little ponies, which was awkward, but it's fine.
Okay.
Bishop, if you're seeing this.
Yeah, I hope he catches this. That'll be cool. Well, just to kind of back up there, because there's you mentioned you worked at McDonald's, and you mentioned not having a name, and so McDonald's uses number system, and so you end up being a number that they're serving. But what the problem is with other places that ask you for your name, when you give them their name, they turn your name into a number. Your name, by giving it to them, does not make you a person to them. They're trying to do that, and they absolutely do not end up doing that. And my problem is, I give you my name, I have to spell it for you. You spell it wrong. The next person reads it. They mispronounce it. My food is cold because you didn't actually call my name. And so I don't actually get to come up and get my food. So I started this years ago when people started doing this, like, no, I feel more treated like a number when you take my name, you mispronounce it, you'd show me you have no relationship with me. So I started using the number 22. And there's a whole story behind that. It doesn't matter what it is. It's 22. And that's so great. I go in to the same restaurant that wants to take my name, and I tell them 22, and I go in there repeatedly. They now know me, whereas if I'd given them my name, it would have ended up being a mispronunciation. I get angry and upset. I stop going there. Instead, I walk through the door, and they go, "Hey, 22, what are you getting today?" And so my sons actually ended up working there later, and my one son has adopted the same thing. So he took my same number. So if I go out to eat with him, he gives them 22 as the number. So it just became this number that is our family is like, hey, we get known in a way about who we are and build relationships through a funny little thing like that. So I know what you're talking about, of having that identity gone from you, which you can create in different ways, which is one reason why I tend to, if I know you from online and you're a streamer, I'm just going to call you PreePonee. I'm not going to, not that I don't want to honor you and learn your name and those things, but it's like, hey, I want to honor the fact that you are presenting yourself and your community knows you this way. So I want to come in and do the same and show that honor and respect in that way. So.
Yeah, and it's not about the name. I think it's about being seen.
Yes.
Like feeling seen. And I feel seen just the same as Pre. When I went to Reach last year, when people are introducing, "Oh, welcome in. Hi, Next Tempest. Welcome to the Pony Club, your little pony." So when I went to Reach, I introduced myself as Pre, because that's what people are going to know from the chat. Right. It makes it easier. But also I felt, so this was something I worked through with God about, removing feeling like I needed this space to have my own identity, because that's not the point of having this space. And what he told me, which is so simple, and every Christian knows it and hears it all the time, but I needed to hear it in this moment, is that was like, "Beloved, I know your name."
Yes.
Right? I see you. It doesn't matter how other people see you. I see you, and you're supposed to help others see me. So.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so good. And and what we're trying to do isn't point to ourselves. We're trying to point to Christ. But one of the things is, as soon as you get on a digital space where millions of people are going to be, your own individual name is either going to identify you and call you out that people can find you in real space, and that might be a threat to you or family. So you need to protect that. Or there's going to be so many people with the exact same name, nobody can find you or figure out who you are. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't end up with that very much myself, but some people would. I mean, I have known 6 people now in my life with my name. So that's not a lot. You know,
That is not a lot.
I'm averaging 1 a decade. Although for the first 3 decades I lived, I didn't run into anybody with my name. So,
Well, my first full name is Caitlin, so I meet a lot of people, but nobody spells it the same, so it's fine.
well, and then sometimes you try to, like with your kids, spell it so that nobody can mispronounce it, and then people mispronounce it anyway. It's like, how can you do that? Okay, man, my real name is rare enough, except apparently on Twitch. Yes, there you go. It can be that way. So, we'll get to come back to reach in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of talk through, like, before we even got to the reach and planning for that and being a part of what led up to that. What were some difficult times that you had? So you have a kid, you're streaming, you're working, you're figuring things out. What were some difficult things that you had to face as a streamer?
A few. So, yeah, prior to even to reach, while I was streaming, I had a lot of conflicts that I needed to work out, just like personally through streaming. It honestly still, like all of us, right? We're never Christ, but and also what surprised me is the social conflicts that popped up, because I'm not a confrontational person. I'm an Enneagram 2. So I believe that we can all love each other, and and when I'm unhealthy, I'm always seeking love and people pleasing out of selfish desire. So that can be kind of toxic in a space like this. So that was hard.
Well, to be people pleasing in a space like Twitch, like which one do you choose to please? Because 2 people are feuding. I mean, there's conflict going on in the chat. What side do you pick? You can't please everybody,
I know, but I will always try. So, a lot of things were difficult like that. And I think I'm also somebody who's very transparent, and the mission of my stream is to build community in Christ. But I think that in having a genuine community, you need to share a little to get a little, right? And I want to be transparent and real. And something I also had to work on is realizing, though, that some parts of my story or things that happened to me, they're not just my story.
Right.
So it's not always right for me to share. And I had to learn that. If it was a conflict with somebody else and I'm trying to talk transparently because I want it to be solved and I want us to come to terms, but maybe they don't want that. And now I've said their name on stream. That was not okay, right? And just realizing, like, yeah, it's your story, but it's not just your story to tell, and just respecting those boundaries. So,
yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. In the same way, there's the level of, as a pastor, when I give illustrations, some people are really from the standpoint of, I have to go to the person, I have to ask them for permission before I share, and those things. And I never was on that level. It's like, I'm going to respect them and I'm going to share the story. But usually if I'm sharing the story of someone else, I'm usually sharing good things that I want to highlight that they did, with maybe the exception of stories I told about my kids. That would maybe be the exception of, this happened with the kids. You won't believe what happened. Let me tell you about what happened. But I would usually leave their name off until they got older and they understood. And I was like, okay, if I share, you're going to know it's okay. I'm not attacking you. There's going to be something in this that you already learned, and I'm going to share that with people. So,
yeah.
But and there's always those levels of transparency versus confidentiality. You know,
Yeah.
where and how do you share? Is it valid to share in this sphere, in this place? And the nature of each individual streamer might be different. So in your stream, someone may not be open to share because you don't, and I'm not picking on you, I'm just any given stream.
Yeah.
But in your stream, if they just had a fight with their spouse and they swore at each other, said awful things, and now the spouse left and they haven't seen him for a week, that might be too much to share. Or maybe that's perfectly fine to share, but they need to know the content and the context in your stream to know if it's safe or not. And that goes as well, like you're saying, you share a little, you get a little. So if you're open with those, yeah, I screwed up with my kids last night. Okay, now it's safe for the stream to say the same thing. Yeah, my wife and I got in a fight. Okay, yeah, it's okay to share that. If someone comes in and, you know, I've seen this in different Discords as well as in Twitch streams, is that's nice that you wanted to share that. Now's not the right time or space to do that. Or this isn't the right channel to share that in, and then trying to help redirect people. And other times going, no, don't stop the person from sharing. It's fine that they need to share. We'll stop and do that now. And I love that freedom. And I would just kind of say, in some ways, to me, it feels like relying on the Spirit to help you know if the time and space is right. Do you feel this is the most important thing? Then absolutely we're stopping and doing it, even if that's out of the norm.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, and also sometimes things are hard because you really want to share about it, but I've had things happen very publicly before.
Oh.
Like we've gone to raid someone and I thought their thing was set up wrong. So I was like, well, I'll give you the link to their stream. We'll all just go over there anyways. And we get there and I'm still live on my stream and I have their stream pulled up and all my chat is going into that. And it turns out that I was blocked by this person. You know, like there's been,
no.
And so then it's a public, and that has been, I want to say, praise be to God, that relationship has been restored. And I didn't know if that was ever going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're here right now. They come in the chat often, but that is something that happens very publicly.
Oh,
and
man,
so
yeah.
Then navigating situations, things like that happen where like sometimes they know the other party and then you still show up for stream and maybe the other person, I'm not talking about that situation anymore, but maybe the other person comes into your stream and starts saying stuff and you have to decide how you're going to navigate that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When two other people are having a conflict and you know both parties and you're trying not to be pulled into one side or another and triangulated in the circumstance, and it's happening on stream. Oh, man, that's tough.
Well, I've even had before where things have happened to me publicly in my stream, so everybody knows that somebody doesn't like me, and that person comes into my stream, and I have to decide how I'm going to navigate that, and still giving the same quality of like vibe and entertainment and positivity. And sometimes we know how we should engage, but we don't feel like engaging like that. We want to engage of our flesh, but like there's a camera on us. And when you are saying you're a Christian, you're also representing something bigger. And so that can be really, really hard to navigate. Because also I'm not the type, my mods are very good about it. Even when they don't agree with me, I'm not a ban happy person. Like I don't just ban people, unless they're just obviously trying to, like get a reaction. But if they come in and they say like, I hate God, you shouldn't follow God, why do you believe in that? It's dumb. There's some places where they'll just block them right away.
Right.
I've told my mods, don't do that. I want to talk to them. They're welcomed here. I want to have a conversation with them.
Some of
and
those
like if
people,
they get too aggressive, like that we can do something about it. But I want them, if I have the platform and I'm able to say things, I have to be willing to listen to other people too. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think those people sometimes come in with two different rationales. One, I'm coming in and I bet you're going to react a certain way. And then you ban or you yell or you argue and the community laughs and they go away and they're like, see, I knew that's what Christians were like. And you reinforce a bad image that they have of Christians, or two, they're coming in with genuinely not understanding and really want answers. But since we know that people do that, it sounds to us, because it's written in text, as they're attacking versus any kind of, I really don't understand of why you would do this. It just makes no sense to me. Help me understand. They just word it bluntly, so it sounds like an attack. And I think those are usually the two places people are coming from. And when it's not one of those two, you know really quickly it's more nefarious than that. They don't take too long to out themselves that way. So
well, yeah, and to be fair to people who come in like that, they're probably coming in like that because they've experienced it the other way.
Yes.
It's natural human, like if you study psychology, it's natural if somebody yells for the other person to yell back. It's just natural. So if all they've known are Christians yelling at them, then when they meet a Christian, they're going to just be the first with their guard up. But we've had a lot of conversations with people who come in that say that, and typically if they stick around long enough, we discover they're not mad at God, they're mad at people who represented God in whatever conversation that they had in the past.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, I have a prayer booth in my little local artisan market, and having conversations with someone there who's a little bit different than everybody else around, and they do a lot of foraging and some other stuff. So I'm curious, like, what they're doing. So they're harvesting acorns to make acorn flour. And so you can sit there and help them and grind acorns and all this. Oh, I looked into it a few years ago, and I got a bunch of oak in my yard, so I collected some. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like sitting down to have a conversation, and I know that they participate in some of the weekly or monthly protests that happen in town. So I was just having a conversation, and that came up, and then I was just curious, asking stuff. And oh yeah. There was this guy that was, 5 feet away, and then he was 5 inches away from me, yelling in my face for 10 minutes straight, and all of this. I'm like, man, I'm sorry that somebody would do that to you. And he goes, yeah, well, that's been happening to me since I was 14, 15 years old. And I'm just like going, oh my goodness, that's horrible that you have had such an experience with people that disagree with you, that is what they do so often. And I can't imagine this guy ever yelling. He's not a big guy in stature. He's shorter than me. And so he's probably shorter than me by about 6 inches. So I don't even know. Maybe he's over 5 foot, but he's right there close to 5 foot. And he's just this little guy that, just lovable. And I'm like going, how could you stand and yell at them? And it's like, and then I don't know why how he just takes it on some level. Like, you're just a sweet little, even I don't care if I disagree with you. And I'm just like, what a great model and example. And I don't know where he is in his faith. We didn't have those conversations yet, trying to build that relationship. But it's that kind of a thing where if I were to come in and tell him my faith, when those people who are coming at him are telling him their faith, it's like, I get categorized with all of those same people unless I do something differently.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to know too, with like people that are seeming aggressive, that it's usually coming from somewhere, right? Like past experience, like you're talking about, or whatever. It's usually coming from somewhere. And so a lot of the social conflicts that I've come across, that's been helpful to keep in mind, that like, classic, like happy people don't hurt people, hurting people hurt people. And learning, people that there's been people who have blocked me. I'm still very small streamer. Like I just make, typically my average viewership is like just breaks 2 digits, which is a lot in some scope, but in the grand scheme, it's still small. Like it's still small. But there are people who will still resent that, or they misjudge my character because they sometimes don't see how some people are built differently, and they think that I'm disingenuine, like I couldn't possibly love people like I do or whatever. They should just take the Enneagram test. But anyways, but we're all different, and honestly, it's true. I'm really like the way I am, but some people think that it's fake, and then they are mad at me because I've made friends with what they feel like is in a fake way. And then there's resentment, I guess, with that. So those have been like the social conflicts, kind of like resentment or sometimes belittling, like even though it's a small success, I'm proud of where we are. I like where we are. And there's a lot of sometimes belittling of where I am, um, usually brought up because I'm a female or, whatever, things like that, which, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you think some of that happens or people feel free to do that because you are female. Do you feel that at times that that's part of some of those attacks that you get is not so much because you're Christian, but maybe more so because you're a female in the space?
I think so. I lost your camera. I am going to
Oh,
answer that, but
okay.
I just want to get you back because I don't know if it takes your sound too.
Well, let me change my setting
Just
down one more on my performance for you, so hopefully that'll help. Am I back or not?
no, but I'm going to refresh the cache of the stream together.
Well, I know
But
that
I can still hear you.
Okay. I know that Amazon, has been having problems over the last couple of weeks, which they have about 1/3 of all the servers.
Has been having problems, yeah.
So this could be a related or.
I know, you can only use Chrome for this.
No, you can use Firefox. But I am using Chrome.
Oh, can you? I don't even know if I have Firefox.
Initially, you couldn't, and Chrome is set up best for it. Let me turn off my camera a minute and turn it back on and see if that helps.
I have your square back. Okay. I think it's back.
Okay. I turned my camera off and back
Yay.
on, so hopefully that took care of it.
Cool.
Okay, so
I turned off my background. I had like Spotify going too, just to make sure. So yeah, we're talking about being a girl.
Right, yes.
On Twitch. I think people are gonna shoot those shots whether you're a girl or not.
Okay.
I think though, obviously it's an easy thing to say. If somebody resents a man, they're not gonna point out for gender reasons, but I think it's fair to say that men are still attacked in the same way. But girl is just the easy thing I think to throw.
Well, I was just wondering more so if they feel entitled to be able to attack, because I don't feel like I've encountered a lot of little belittling things or people judging where my success level is or any of those things. I don't really view my success level as any level of success.
Yeah.
I view I'm very happy with what I've been doing and accomplishing, and I want to continue to improve and get better. But I don't feel like I hear from outside my community of people saying things, or even then friends saying, "Oh, I've heard people talking about you," which is really weird on one level, because in every church that I was at, I would hear that. So as a pastor, I heard that constantly. I have not run into that as a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, and it might not even just be a Twitch issue. It might be like a humanity issue.
Right.
It might be deep rooted. Humans are a type of animal, and I do think for so long it's been built on a system where the woman. Well, even so, the Bible says that a man godly man will pursue a woman. So we're kind of built up to feel like you have to earn, to be wanted or to be sought after or to be respected or whatever. And I think sometimes subconsciously people fall into that mindset without even realizing it. And I think sometimes that's where the issue of a lot of problems, not just belittling successes of women, but also resentment that other women have. I think sometimes it doesn't have to do with them being like a hateful woman who hates women.
Oh, right.
I think a lot of times it's out of like, oh, you receiving that love means I'm not receiving that love. And not always in like a trying to attract a male way. I just mean just in general. Like those people wanting to be your friend means that they're not wanting to be my friend. And I need them to want to be my friend. I think it's like a deep-seated issue. And I think it does tie to being female. But yeah, like I've even been into like friend streams before, and they lightheartedly they'll talk about women, and they're not even talking about me, but they'll just maybe make a comment. I've heard it multiple times. I know there's someone in my chat who I've heard say it before, and Matthew 18 that we talked about it and we're good. But it's not just that person. I've heard it many times when I'm just lurking in a stream and it's just guys and they just think they're playing with guys and they don't realize who's in their chat, and they'll just talk about, man, if I was a woman, this would be so much easier. It's like, really? Because it comes with its own cons. Maybe you wanted to play the game other women were playing to use those assets, but if you don't, then sometimes it's harder.
That's fair. If you're well, and you can go with anything and see someone else that has an advantage over you. I like when I was younger, I had a basketball, and this will date me if anybody knows Julius Erving, 76ers back in the 70s. So like I thought, oh man, he's cool. I want to be a basketball player. So I had a basketball. I'd throw it at the hoop. Well, I don't know. I finally get to like 5th grade or something and get to be on a basketball team. I'm the shortest kid in the class. Okay. So I am never going to be in the NBA, and I don't even fantasize about dunking the basketball. I would just like to touch the net. Okay, that would I have done it once or twice. I don't know that I can do it anymore. But it's like there were people with an advantage in basketball. If I would have pursued that, I would have never been great at it. I mean, there were just things that were going to get in the way. And so it'd be really easy for me to, if that was my goal, be resentful of other people who were taller than me, just because that was an advantage for them. I actually tried to hypothesize a way for me to actually be successful in the NBA was for them to set the height of the hoop based on the average height of the people on your team. So you could get a whole bunch of really short people, and you could get the height lowered instead of 10 feet, lower that ball all the way down to 6 feet, because nobody on the team was going to be more than 5'7". I mean, we're going to all be short people on the team, and we're going to have a 6 foot tall basketball hoop, and we'll be good to go. And, but they're not going to do that so that I can play basketball. It's not going to happen. So there's ways for people to be jealous of other people's success. In lots of easy, tangible ways, and it doesn't stay outside of the church. I mean, even Paul has to address this when they're saying, I of Paul, I of Apollos, I of Cephas, and he's going, hey, wait, shouldn't you be saying I'm of Jesus? And I'm with theChurch.digital, and myself and there's other organizations that love to use this language, like new thing and exponential is kingdom over castle. I want to build the kingdom up, and I don't care if it builds my castle up. It's the kingdom of God, not my little fiefdom that I have, because the kingdom of God will be here when I'm done. And when I'm not here. So how do I help build up the kingdom? I build up the kingdom by having wonderful people like you come on my podcast and chat about what we're doing, so that the world, hopefully at some point, takes notice of us streamers and gamers who are Christians trying to be salt and light in the space. And anybody that is going and saying, my church doesn't understand, well, if they come across this podcast or gets shared with them, they can share it with people in their church, so they go, oh, now I listened to 30 episodes, and so now I finally begin to get a glimpse of what it might be. I don't understand, but I understand your heart, and I think that's part of what I hope to accomplish with having people on is talking about, so that we get at the heart that we are in ministry together, and we're trying to reach people for Christ, and we're trying to be as faithful as we can. And we're all different, and we're doing things differently because that's how God's made us.
Yeah, and I think that's an important part, is that everybody's different. And I think that roots some of that issues of resentment too, is this coveting of gifts that God has given to people differently. And my stream is very feminine, right? So It's very obvious that I'm a girl, and if a boy ran this stream, it would be a very different vibe, right? So male streamers who say, "Oh, it's easy for Pree because she's a girl," well, it's easy for Pree to do well in the atmosphere that Pree has created, because she's created around her and her talents and stuff. And so people need to find what gifts they have. Everybody has it, and if it's not even a gift, like something you're interested in, like unicorns or whatever, because
or
it's
hats.
not like, oh yeah, just okay. So everybody who goes to Flatcap streams, it's not like they're obsessed with hats or fish. They like him.
It
like,
would be nice if they were. We'd have more to talk about.
I say this is a pony club and there's no bronies allowed, but I'll tell you, most of the people here are usually male. Oh, I'm getting rated. Be continued. Hold on.
You're getting rated. Awesome. Stay tuned, everybody.
Sorry, my thing's inside out. It's going to take a second. It's awkward for you because you don't have music, but
I could put some music on. It won't be the right music though.
It's okay. It's just like an EDM Pikachu.
Here, I'll let me see. I'll do a surprise alert here.
Hey, Cardinal, welcome in, friend. Thanks for being here. I hope your stream was good. I was there for the beginning of it. I'm interested in playing wildcard myself sometime. It looks so fun. We were just talking about being yourself and leaning into your own uniqueness and talents and skills that God has given you. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, that everybody doesn't go to your stream because they're obsessed with hats and fish, and everyone doesn't go to my stream because they're obsessed with ponies and being girly, because really people in my stream are typically opposite, but people love authenticity and just being who you are, and it's just fun to meet you and like learn about you and get to know each other. But
yeah,
so
absolutely.
like it could be like football and like do things but football and make a bracket when it's, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know football words wording, but like when it's bracket time, do that.
Yeah, I don't spend any time watching the NFL. I mean, I used to, but I don't anymore. I will watch some college football, but like I'm at the point where I want my sports in the 10-minute highlight reel. That is all I want. I don't have 3 hours to watch anything. No, I ain't got time for that. Like, just show me who won. And in fact, I'm actually like, if you annihilate the other team and you're my team and you beat them 50-0, then after I know that, I'll sit down and watch all 3 hours of it because it's going to be awesome. But if I don't know, I'd rather just watch the 10-minute highlight reel and go, well, that was disappointing, or, oh, well, they squeaked it out, and be done with it, not sit there for 3 hours and do that. But there is something that is just, I think, freeing when you are being yourself and you're doing things that are your own, and you can adopt them from other people and what they're doing. Like I wanted to put hats on stream to begin with because I knew people were going to ask and part of my name is because I'm not trying to take myself seriously. But I didn't want to bait and switch anybody and have them come in and later find out I'm a pastor. And that was my decision. Yeah. And somebody else might not have the same experience, but I have that often in life where I'll have conversations with people and then they go, what do you do for a living? And then as soon as they find out I'm a pastor, they start apologizing for their language and other stuff. It's like, if I had a problem, I know how to speak up and tell you it offended me. Okay, I wasn't offended. I was meeting you where you are, and I was good with it. So, but it was like, all right, here's what I have. And I had fish. And so it was like, well, let me just throw those on because I don't know what else to do. And then the fish became I'm not going to be streaming for a while. I'll just show you my fish for the weekend, and you can watch my fish live. And people thought that was cool. All right, my fish need their own channel then, and that became a thing too. So it was like,
Yeah. Yeah, they just kind of organically
organically, yes,
happen,
yeah.
and you get influenced. It's just going to happen naturally. But so like homeschool mom, every time she got rated, and because I was in her stream every weekday, when she got rated, she did this chicken
Oh
dance
yeah, I
thing. And
remember
I
the
was like,
chicken
well, I don't
dance.
want to copy her, but I feel like when I get rated, I need to do something. Like I need to do something to show them that I'm glad they're here. And I already had a unicorn onesie that I owned before stream because I'm a camp director. And we already had that as a channel point redemption. And I was like, well, I'll just put on a unicorn onesie. And then I already owned these other onesies because I just love onesies. So I was like, well, I'll just do different raid songs and they'll just randomly rotate. Whatever song plays, that'll be what I put on. And like, so it just like things just grow and develop. And you take little ideas and you make them your own. And I think we get so hyper focused on like, wow, that person does that so well. I could never do that well.
Oh,
Well, that's true because you are not them,
right.
but they cannot do what you could do the way that you would do it if you would lean into who you are and do that thing.
Oh, absolutely. And getting an idea and inspiration from someone is fantastic, but I think owning it in your own way is even better. They talk about, copying is the sincerest form of flattery. Okay, that's fine, but I'm not copying to copy you. I'm copying because I was inspired by you. And I want to do something that takes from what you did and make it into my own. So I've seen other people that have displays of whatever they have behind them. They've got a whole bunch of Funko Pops, or they've got a bunch of tennis shoes, or they have something else, or they just had boxes that were back there for like you've got behind you, and it lights up. So I got the idea of lighting it up from that. Well, I ended up using glass because otherwise it didn't show up well enough to show my hats. So like some of it was starting with what other people were doing, and others was, well, this is what I want to do. How do I interweave all of those things? And that just kind of, I think, leads into the next question I want to ask is, what have been some really impactful, God-blessed moments that you've had on stream, either for yourself as a streamer or for someone in your community, something that was just a blessing to be able to be a part of?
Yeah, so I talked a little bit before. It kind of like my initial intention was also a blessing of like having this own space, and that's not the most important piece. That was something I wasn't planning on, that I received, that I'm thankful for, like a space to be Kate and not my child's mom, or Mrs. whatever my last name is now that I'm married. But I think the biggest blessings have been to be a part of somebody else's faith journey. And again, like when I started streaming, I didn't know that was going to happen. I always just pictured every time I stream, a couple new people would come in and I'd probably never see them again. Cause that's kind of your first experiences when you're streaming. And you just kind of accept like, well, this might be reality forever. And I'll just like maybe make someone smile while they're just here and then they'll leave. Just like when I was at McDonald's, like that's whatever, I can do that. But then you make these actual relationships, and doing online Bible studies, which I was already thinking about doing, and then I did for the first time with Alpha in the Discord. It wasn't just like this is on stream, but just off stream in the Discord, those conversations. And we really did have people there who weren't Christian, and they have come in since to stream to tell us that they've given their life to Christ. One was 18 and came in just when I came back to stream after summer camp this year. So a few, months later, came into stream and said, I just felt like I had to tell you guys that I decided to be a Christian. Their family's not Christian. And I found a church, and another person came into stream that's their IRL friends that
Oh,
started coming
cool.
to our streams for a little bit. And they're like, yes, we're both going to be Christian now. We both go to the same church. We're both in the same youth group. And, this person's going to buy a Bible tomorrow. I'm going to have my first Bible. And it's like moments like that it's like, yes, that is everything. That is the purpose. That is just because so many times you do ministry and you don't see the fruit, which is okay. But like sometimes you do, and that just motivates you to keep doing what you're doing when you get to see those moments.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
that's the biggest blessings for
Oh
me.
yeah. Well, that's really cool of those moments where you get to share with them, they get to engage with the gospel, and then the gospel is not only planted, but you get to see it grow and for them to make acknowledgement of what God is doing in their life and say, yeah, I am now going to choose to live a different type of life than I had been doing before. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think like a way that something that helps me when you are having those seasons where you aren't witnessing the fruit is remembering that even if somebody walks away and doesn't realize, like doesn't that hasn't walks away from your stream and like didn't accept God or whatever, you didn't change their mind or anything, you can know that they still left the stream experiencing God, even if they didn't know it. Like the
Yes.
love they felt from the chat or something that was said or the peace that was there, as long as we're prayerful and invite Holy Spirit in, like whatever they positive thing they left with, if they left with something positive, then they have experienced God. And I think that is something that helps me when I'm in a season of not getting that feedback of seeing, those fruits. But
Oh yeah, that's an interesting kind of thing that happens too, that I've had several people on the podcast talking about, is those seasons where it feels like I'm doing things but I'm not seeing any fruit. And I was actually just listening to a podcast today that was talking about that whole concept of God. Jesus doesn't tell us that we're to go produce fruit. He tells us to abide in him. And in abiding in him is he will produce the fruit. And
yeah.
I think we lose track of that sometimes because we're looking to see the fruit instead of looking to see the one we should be abiding in. And if we're abiding in him, fruit will happen. But also, if you pay attention, fruit happens in a season. Fruit does not happen constantly for everyone in every time of life. You have different seasons of where, wow, you're being really productive and lots of things are happening. He also, when he sends the disciples out, say that some plant, some watered, and some see the harvest. So I like to try
Yeah.
to hold that in mind too, that maybe I'm doing a lot of watering right now, and I've got to
Yeah.
keep watering because that's all I get to do is be the watering person for a while.
I love what you're saying right now. That's something I'm really passionate about, especially with, and it kind of blends, it ties to streaming, but it's rooted in my IRL ministry. And when I first started doing ministry, one of the things I really, really struggled with, but I started young, and I was put into leadership pretty young as well. And something that I really struggled with is when a kid aged out of my programs, and we might feel this way with streaming or whatever ministry we're working on, when somebody leaves your program and they still haven't accepted Christ, you feel like you failed. But actually, it's not on you. And that was so important for me to learn. Like, it's on God, and He's got it. And so I was wrestling with the Holy Spirit about that. And I went to a diocesan convention. There's like 400 people that go one year, And I had a kid in particular that always weighed heavy on my heart. He came to every single one of our programs year round, the youth groups, the retreats, the summer camp. He was active on, like, back then the campers had a Facebook because kids were actually on Facebook. But he was always like staunch atheist, like
Yeah.
hated God, but he came to all the programs and he was outspoken about it. And he would tell all of them, like, I love you guys, but you're being dumb about God. Like, he was like that. And he also, he wasn't very healthy. He didn't have a lot of joy. He
Yeah.
sometimes we had to drive him around the golf cart because he easily got injured and it was hard for him to
Oh
walk and
no.
support himself. And so, like, yeah, he just, like, very, like, you just, when you love him, but when you were with him, you kind of felt a little down.
Yeah.
He just had that aura about him. And I went to this convention, and this man walks up to me and he shakes my hand, and he's like wearing like very dressed up outfit, and I'm like, shake his hand. I was like, hi. He's like, so good to see you. I was like, yeah, it's nice to see you. And he's like, you don't know who I am, all right, do you? And he had a nickname at camp. He goes, I'm Beans. I was like, no way. And I hugged him. Beans, like, cleaned up. He was serving on the vestry, which is a leadership term for our church. So he was one of our churches. He was serving on the vestry. He had given his life to Christ, and he, like, wanted to tell me, and he was so happy. And you could just tell, like, there was this lightness. And
Yeah.
and we don't always get to see that, but I wrestled for so long. I think God knew I needed to see that. And just, it made me think, what other Beans are out there? Like, what other people have been involved in ministry that God has used? You didn't need me, but allowed me to be involved with. And he used those programs to serve people.
Yes.
And I wish so badly that people on Twitch had people pastoring them in this or teaching this, like other, like, pastors, priests, like all those leadership roles, vestry members, whatever. They all have trainings, right? So I oversee the Safe Church of my diocese, and there's 10 different trainings we do. Any leader in the church needs to have these trainings, and people who are out there and just start a ministry don't have that support. They don't learn these lessons. They struggle and they carry these burdens, not realizing that these burdens aren't their own. It doesn't rely on them. It's all on God. And it's sad. It's really hard to
Well,
watch.
and I will say on some level, even being in the church for a long time and being a pastor for decades, I can tell people the same thing over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and they can still have a mindset that's totally contrary to everything that I'm telling them
Right.
and teaching them or even training them. It can totally go in one ear and out the other, or they can.
And that's what happened with me too.
Yeah.
But I think the training, in a way, plants a seed, so that when you have the experience, it's like, oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah. What I was going to get to though is I'm not downplaying what your thought is on training, because I
Yeah.
do think that there are a lot of people that have no one speaking into them. So we do
Yeah.
need to be speaking into them. But I also think that what's vital and key is places where they're in relationships with other Christian streamers,
Yeah.
where they have community of Christian streamers together, not
Yeah.
just a solo Christian streamer and trying to just be me as a solo streamer being successful.
Yeah.
And I'm not against anybody that is able to. I mean, if any Christian streamer is able to, hey, I'm full-time and I'm a partner and my income is off of this, that's great. I want to celebrate that. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying is I don't associate with other people because it doesn't build my stream up. I don't connect with other people because I've got to go do this my own. That kind of a thing, because then you don't have iron sharpening iron. You don't have people speaking into each other's life, and then when there's struggles, how do you I'm trying to remember the one passage where two can keep each other warm. If you're by yourself, how can you keep yourself warm? That kind of a thing.
Right.
of when it's difficult, how can you do that? So that just kind of would lead me, and you were talking about Alpha. Alpha, did you do that before the Reach plan, or was that you started with Reach?
I actually have a really magical story about this.
Okay.
Okay. So I've done a lot of alpha before reach,
Okay, I have as well.
in real life.
Yes.
Yes, just in real life, because it's a great ministry tool, and it's wonderful. And the spring before they reached out about alpha, so not that time, the year before,
right,
I ran an alpha for a church, and it was for a group of kids who had been away from church for a couple of years. They had church hurt. It was a group of families, so they had moved to a new church, and this was like the reintroductory. If these kids are going to do church or not, like decide to be Christians or not. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of pressure, but it's all on you, God, not on me. And we did the program, and they, and I will say, since they've been confirmed in the church, they still attend the church. The next year they hosted the program for their friends. They had their friends come and they hosted the program. So it was a success story. Anyways, so that was the spring before. And then I started getting this thought, and the way that happened was very God-like as well, because my husband and I were talking about, I feel like we should do a youth group. What should we do? Because we do a bunch of stuff, and once in a while we just do like a pop-up, like we're going to go to this church and run this youth group for a few weeks, and we couldn't think of what to do. And the very same day we were talking about it, somebody called and said, do you know any youth people in the area, maybe one of your past counselors that could lead this program? We're like, actually, can we lead it? Because we've been looking for something. So God, that's how, this is important context, because that's how God works for me. It's very like God incidents. Someone could call it a coincidence, but like, oh my gosh, there's too many factors in this.
I call those divine appointments, you know.
Yeah, okay. So same. Divine appointments, God incidents.
Yes.
So, anyways, so then we flip the calendar. We're now in a new spring. And I was like, I feel like doing alpha again. I'm getting like the alpha itch. I want to, and I don't usually run the same program, like same time of year, like back to back. I was like, I just want to do it again. I don't know why. And then I had this thought. And at the time I was only doing my streams. I wasn't doing anything faith formation off stream. And I thought, could I do alpha on my stream? Would that be allowed? What is the copyright? Because usually when you sign up to an alpha, you sign up as your church.
Right.
And you get permission that way.
Yes.
And so I shot out an email, and then I was opening my mind too. I was like, maybe I wouldn't do it on stream, because maybe I think a good thing about alpha is the conversations. And I think people would be more transparent if it wasn't live. Like if people signed up and came to like maybe my Discord. I don't know. Is this crazy? So I emailed alpha. Okay. I go home and I stream. Webby Pumpkin, I know you know him. He's another Christian streamer, another part of Reach. He also, I know he was transparent. I watched the podcast with him in it. He's been transparent that he was having like a dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it. He was having a moment, him and God. And FaZe, who was a big part of putting together Reach with Romans, he went into, Mama Brick Build's son, went into Webby Pumpkin's chat, because I was like all God to Webby, because I knew that would help him. I was like, you got to get your faith back, dude. Anyway, so he goes into Webby Pumpkin's chat and he's like, hey, do you want to run this online Christian program? And Webby's like, I watched his VOD too. He's like, hey, you should go talk to Pree. I think she's streaming. And so he came into mine and he's like, hey, there's this Christian program. We're trying to get all the Christians together on Twitch to do this program. Would you at all be interested? I was like, oh yeah, what are you talking about? Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, it's this program called Alpha, and it's a well-known program, and it's used for evangelism. And I was like, say less. Like I was like, bro, and I took pictures and I sent them to Romans later, because I had to prove. I hadn't heard anything about this. I emailed Alpha that day and trying to discern, what should I do? Am I allowed? And and then they came into my chat that same day, that same night.
I didn't realize that's the same day.
Program?
That's cool.
Same day.
That's super cool.
So yeah. Alpha hadn't even gotten back to me yet.
Well, what's interesting, I don't know timing wise along where that was at, but I was actually trying to figure out in my own what I could do in addition to what I was already doing. And there were people saying I had people come in my stream that weren't Christian. It's like, well, I'm reading the Bible. We're talking about that. This really is not what you need to do if you're trying. I mean, on some level, yeah, you can start anywhere and God can use that. And all of that was like, well, this isn't what I would do if you're brand new in the faith. I would go run Alpha. And I got Alpha training in 2006. So that's how long ago I started doing Alpha, was 2006. So, And then I also have done the marriage course. I don't know if you're familiar with their marriage course as well, which is
I haven't done their marriage course.
the
No.
thing I will say about their marriage course, which is why I really like it, is you're sitting there with your spouse, or the marriage prep course, either one. You're sitting there with the significant other, and the conversations are with the significant other. They are not with the room, and they are not to please the person who's there. And they're also not a weekend where you feel really good and then you go back to life and you can't put anything into practice. There is a just like Alpha, there is a meal and a video or a presentation if you're doing it live, not a video, and then a conversation. So a meal and a video and a conversation. It's the same approach, although you get it split up a little bit with conversations along the way while you're doing it, that you just have a 5-minute conversation with your spouse or your significant other, then a 15-minute one, and a 10-minute later, and you do the meal, and then during it we bring out dessert to kind of make it a date night kind of a thing, which is super fun and cool. So I'd done all of that, and I was looking at it and I go, I wonder if I could do Alpha with people, but my thought was, I have never.
So you were thinking about it too.
Oh yeah, I was already planning on doing Alpha.
Wow, it's honestly, I'm gonna sound super Christian. It was a Holy Spirit thing.
Oh yeah,
like, it was.
So I was already planning on how do I do Alpha? What's the best way to do it?
Yes.
I was going, well, I think I need to stream this because I've never done any activities in my Discord. I have a Discord, but my Discord is not active. There is not active chat. Like if I hold a Discord event, nobody's showing up. So it was kind of like I was thinking, I need to do this on stream. So then I knew Romans, and Roman calls me up and he says, hey, we're trying to do this thing. And he says, Alpha. I'm like, tell me less. I'm already like, I know what it is. I've led it for years. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Like I'm in, like, what do I do? And then I'm like, can I actually stream it instead of do a Discord event? Cause I don't think mine was successful, in any sense of the imagination, but we had some really good conversations because what we would do is I would put the video up and play it, and I was engaging the chat by chatting, not talking. So we are chatting along the way about everything going on, talking about things going in there. And then when we got done streaming, we'd try to go over to Discord and continue the conversation. And I would get a fraction of the people jump over to Discord, which I expected, but it was like, okay, now we can talk deeper if you want to. We're off camera for anybody that, doesn't want to share what's going on. And so like I was all in as soon as, and then he's like, oh, we're only going to do 8 weeks. 8 weeks? It's 15 weeks. Why are we only doing half of it? Like, but it made some sense. And so when Roman said that and let's go ahead and do this, I was early adopter. I'm on board. Let's do this. We're gonna launch after Easter. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I have a timer on my lights here. Let me turn them back on.
Oh, that's smart.
All right.
Yeah, that's so cool that you had such a similar story. Cause I was like already planning. I was like, I'm already gonna do one. Cool.
Right.
Oh wow, there's incentives?
Yeah.
There's a whole group doing it?
I know. He's like, you go do this and we'll do this for you. I'm like, yeah, sign me up for this. And I'd already, known Romans for a little while. I'd act like
I didn't know him.
You didn't know him at all? Okay.
No, I hardly knew anybody. I went to Reach like not knowing anyone, basically. No one from my community went. I knew like a handful. Like I knew Webby. I knew that was it.
I more knew of some people, but like I'm a day streamer, so I more knew of the night streamers, but I didn't watch any of the nights. So I knew of you, but I'd never spent time. Maybe more than once or twice in your channel would have been it. But it wasn't about that. It was, we're going to try to prove that Christians in an online space that is dark can reach people, whether that's in Discord, whether that's in Twitch, whether that's TikTok, whatever it was, because it wasn't just limited to Twitch streamers only. And then we're going to get together and celebrate what God did. And I'm like, this is awesome. Let's go for it. And So that was super cool. So how did your stream work out, or your Discord community for doing alpha? I know you talked about some people that came back and shared some results, but just how was the experience overall?
It was crazy. It blew me away. I did not expect it. I thought like my diehards that come to every stream, like my really close friends, like maybe I knew I could get enough leaders because of my IRL. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm getting another raid. Hold on.
And this
Hello, me Force. Hi Armani, how are you? How was your stream? What were you playing? Welcome in, Raiders.
Welcome in. See, this is why everybody watching this on the VODs or listening to it later, you need to be here live. You're missing out. All the shenanigans that happen to welcome people and say hello. And
Welcome
I'm
in,
excited. I'm excited you got the unicorn.
Hi, oh, you're playing Star Wars? So cool. Tell us about it in the chat. So hi, everybody. My name's Pree. I'm a family-friendly Jesus Camp girl. This is a podcast night. It's a little different than usual, but welcome into the Pony Club. But the Alpha Discord, I know it's going to be crazy when you sniff all that stuff out, and I'm just like, in a different outfit.
Oh, it's gonna be no. I'm just leaving it. I'm just gonna let it roll.
I'm just gonna leave it.
Yep, just gonna let it roll.
Costume change. Yeah. So the Discord blew me out of the water. I wasn't expecting it at all, because I can't remember how many followers I had last year. Like maybe I had 1,000, but still had that same like average viewership that I have now.
Right.
And I had close to 100 people sign up. I still have those channels. I could look at it. But because they're online people, I think I had like 50 to 60 show up on the day, which is still...
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
It's still a crazy lot. And at the end, the fact that it wasn't on a stream, they had to like go to another app. They had to go to Discord on the day that it's scheduled at the time and go there and go to it. It was crazy, and I had grouped people. I had 5 different discussion groups. We did a watch party together, so we would talk in the chat, and then I did different breakout discussion rooms, and I had, just like regular alpha, I had leaders assigned. So
that's
the groups were only up to 10 people in a group. And they were named, like, I had Phoenix, I had Pegasus, I had, like, they're all named after mythical creatures, a dragon. So that they would go to their discussion groups, and I also grouped them by kind of where they are in their faith journey. So it was kind of like a safe space. I had one of my youth workers, 2 youth workers, lead a younger kids discussion group. So some of even my IRL kids went to it, / people who I know who are not 18. I had them tell me privately that are come to my Twitch stream, because you have to be 14, and I do allow people who are under 18 to be there.
Right.
So I had like a youth one. So like they had their own group with 2, Safe Church youth leaders. And then I had the older groups. I had people from, just kind of Christian curious to like people who are like, I had a priest come, like, you know what I mean? Like I had like the people who were like in it. But yeah, so it was really good. So the way I articulated it, I was like, it's for anybody who's wants to learn about Christianity or wants to share their Christianity in a group, and you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to. And then I privately DM'd every single person and figured out kind of where they felt comfortable being in a group.
Cool.
And I also asked, like, are there any friends that signed up that you want to be with? And I think like things like that kind of helped.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that level of invite and placing people in groups that you had done. That's really cool. I didn't pick up on that in any of the conversations as we were doing it. That sounds like a fantastic way to plan for it and to implement it. I like that. That's really cool.
I personally DM'd like everybody. When people followed me, I would DM them after stream. And I would say, like, I'm going to do this program, and you can bring a friend, and you can tell me, and I'll make sure you guys are in the same group. And you don't have to use your mic or your camera. You can make a different handle. Like, really tried to like make it really easy to say yes. And you can be late, you can leave
Oh,
early, you can
well,
miss a
I'll
few.
tell you what. There are people that will not understand this if you're not in Twitch space. I love
Yeah.
people that come late and just show up and then they hang
Yeah.
out for a while, or the people that are like get rated in and are like, well, I'm just about to leave, but I wanted to come and say hello before I left. I mean, like those different connecting pieces are really cool. And I have tried to figure out as I can where and how to have that same kind of excitement when it happens in other places. Instead of like,
Yeah.
oh, just see Bob showed up late again. Bob's always late.
Yeah, it's great that Bob came.
Bob came, okay? Bob is here. Bob could have, because he was late, decided I ain't showing up, ain't worth my time.
Yeah.
Bob still came. Oh, so-and-so had to leave early again. They're always leaving early. Yeah, they have a job, and they could just as easily call it in and say, it's not worth coming because I can't stay. It's like we need to change our mentality when we're
Especially with like anxious people, and honestly, online people.
Oh, yeah.
Not all of them, but they tend to be more a little like. There's a reason why some people are seeking community where they can't be seen or heard, like
or
they just share in a chat, you know.
or they need to feel safe, and
Yeah.
lurkers need safety for a long time before they unlurk themselves. And unfortunately, in the church, we call out lurkers the moment they show up and highlight them and then like wonder why they didn't come back, especially if they're an introvert or they have social anxiety or they have any other limitations that don't make them feel comfortable. It's we're not building relationship by saying, if you're a visitor, please stand up. No.
Yeah.
No. Train your
who's
people
the first
better.
Timer here.
Yeah. Train. Oh,
Worse when it's like one person. Like, oh great.
Or,
Why'd you even ask?
Or if you've been at the sly church that thinks they're sly, is all members please stand up so they can look around and look down on the person that's a visitor and make them feel really awkward. It's like you're making it worse. You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cardinal Redbeard, sometimes you just feel like sitting in the back. Absolutely. That is me. I want to sit in the back. I sat in the back row in class. I do not like sitting in front. Oh, so this is funny. My wife is a front row person in class because you have to be up front and take notes and all that. And I have to be in the back row because anybody sitting behind me is a distraction. I will constantly turn around and look behind me when I hear something, when something's going on, because it's a distraction. Everything in front of me, I can.
That's true. At Reach, you always sat at the back tables.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Because if I have to see everything in front of me, if something's behind me, I'm distracted. Yeah. So it's not because I'm trying to stay away. It's because I'm trying to pay attention. Because otherwise, I'm just going to be turning around and looking of what's going on. So this is also really weird. I could never study in the library because everybody that coughed, who's coughing? Who's loud? Dropping a book over there. I studied in the cafeteria because I could just shut it out. There's just stuff everywhere. There's nothing to look at here.
Yeah.
So, I'm not like people. I'm different.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We both. I mean, I'm also neither of those. I sit at every table. So.
Oh well, that's a different thing.
See me in a room, I'm like.
Well, you did notice too. I moved from one side to the other. I just stayed in the perimeter, but I did keep moving. Yeah, there's somebody I haven't sat next to. I've got to move.
Yeah.
I don't stay in the same spot. That's very difficult at times. Like, why would I sit next to the same people I already know when there's somebody I haven't met? So, Alpha. So we did it as part of Reach, and then we got together with Reach. What were some of the highlights for you for going to Reach? What were your expectations going in, if you can remember those? And then what was like the experience for you of being there with everybody?
I didn't know what to expect. I felt like I had big imposter syndrome
Ah,
because I had delivered pretty big numbers for the group of doing the Discord. And I said the whole time, like, I'm not real. It's not, I'm not, I don't know why this is happening, Romans.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he's like, you gotta, and he had me talk to people too about like sharing how I marketed for the event. But I'm also, so I'm the youth ministry director for the diocese, but I'm also for our conference center of the diocese where our camp is at. I'm also the director of advancement. So marketing is my thing and communication is my thing. So maybe that helped. I don't know. But I felt big imposter syndrome because also leading up to the event, and I was very blessed. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I get a youth ministry salary. Like I don't do it for money. We have everything we need. I don't need money. That's what I'm saying. But it's not like I've never been to Florida before I went to Reach. You
oh
know what I mean? I'm
really?
from upstate New York, and I had never been there before. But because I had gotten like I think you needed to get 50 people signed up to go, and they like paid for everything: rental car, hotel, flight, all of it. And so that is reason I could go.
Yeah,
So there was that, and then also Romans invited me to introduce Cameron Arnett, who's like an actual known person who was
yeah.
in a movie The Forge at the time. I was like, what? And so I knew I was going for that, and I was so nervous. And then I had prepared what I was going to say, and then Romans had told me, hey, before you introduce Cameron, I just want you to know you can totally market your stream a little bit. And I was like, that feels weird. Like, and I'm not saying that's funny if anybody else did that. That didn't sit with me. That I just thought that was weird. Like, I don't want to like say like, hey guys, join the pony club. All right, here's Cameron Arnett. You know what I mean? It just didn't feel
You,
right.
you mean you didn't
But
want
I
to
was
show
like,
up in a onesie to introduce him?
yeah. Yeah, no. So, and I was like, because no one's going to know me. No one's going to know me. And I felt bad. I felt like Romans invited me to do these things and paid for me to come and everything because he thought I was this somebody that I'm not.
Ah,
That's what it felt like. And so then I was like, I'm just going to introduce Cameron. I'm going to talk about the movie. I'm going to introduce Cameron. That's it. I'm not going to do the thing he offered. I'm just do that. And then God told me when I was in the hotel the night before, he's like, you're going to share your testimony. I was like, what? These people don't know me. Also, Romans didn't invite me to do that. Like, he didn't invite me to do that. So I asked Romans, I messaged him, how much time do I have before I speak? And he told me the amount of time I had. And I was like, okay, I have to fit my testimony in that amount of time, and I'm going to share it, I guess. So, but what I did is instead of sharing it about me, I shared what I thought was relevant to everybody in the room.
yeah.
So I shared my why of streaming because I felt like people would see themselves in that, and maybe it would. And then in that, I spoke a little bit about some experiences that I've had in life and how they tie also into like my why for streaming. And I found out after it impacted a few people. So that was really cool. But I went to Reach not knowing anything, just knowing like I was on this God train. Like this has all been like, I was like, I can't go to Reach. And then I found out that it was free. So I was like, you know what I mean? It was just like God was doing all this stuff. So I was just saying yes. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. I didn't know that you'd never been to Florida before.
Oh, no.
And I'm
No.
thinking, I don't even know how many times I've been to Florida. I can't even count. But I would say the majority of them, or maybe I shouldn't say the majority anymore. Half of them were driving at least. So,
Mm.
24-hour drive, depending upon where we were going, easily drive that far and go. So, or depended on where we were living when we went. So, but yeah, I can say I think I qualified for the free ticket, and and the free hotel, but that was it. That was the level of which I attained, and I had airline miles to be able to cash in to fly. So it was like, all right, I got that. Let's go, and then actually afterwards, I went on a cruise with my wife. She flew down and we went on a cruise. So it was kind of like, I'm already down here. Let's go on vacation afterwards, which
That's
was, yeah,
cool.
which was fun. So, oh, Did they lost me again? Am I back?
Yeah, they should have you
Okay.
back now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I had some of the imposter syndrome too, because I'm like, I'm not doing what other people in the space are doing. I'm not gaming in this space. I'm not doing this to be a full-time Twitch streamer. That's not what I'm doing in the space. So it's like, what am I giving? What am I contributing? But I had early on tried to find everybody that was going that I could and follow them and try to spend time getting to know whenever I could watch people. And there were a lot of people like, oh, I already know them. I'm so excited to go meet them. I know this person. I get to meet them. Not all of them ended up being there. Not everyone was able to make it that was part of it. But I was most excited about meeting people than anything else that was going on with the speakers that were there or the gameplay that was going on. For me, it's my extrovert just gets to have a field trip and get to come out of my shell and then have people go, wait a minute, you're still this way in person like you are on stream, and you know, get up in the morning with people going down for breakfast at the hotel or whatever, and you're like, dude, you're wearing a hat. Well, yeah, of course I am. I mean, why wouldn't I? Like, this is me. What, like, why would I be without a hat if I can wear one? And so it's like, oh, and then this is where my wife and I are vastly different. If there's a conversation that's still going on at 1 a.m, I'm usually still at that conversation because it's ongoing. And so I was a little disappointed. We didn't just have like a camp where everybody was at and we're just in the dorms. It's like, oh, there's people across the parking lot at a different hotel. Are they awake? Should I go see? Maybe they're out in the lobby over there. And I'm missing a conversation over here. And then there were so many things going on in so many buildings. It was like, if you stayed put, you were going to miss somebody in another building in another conversation over there.
And that's what it's going to be like this year.
Oh my goodness.
So many things
it's going to be so many things happening at once.
Yeah. But speaking of, did you know I'm trying to get a reach camp?
No.
You know, you said we're not at a camp. Romans messaged me throughout the year and said, how many people can you host at your camp? Because I have a camp and conference center. And I said, well, I have actually an event, which I just had in October, and we're going to have 400 people, which is the most we've ever had. So let me see how that goes and see what I actually can offer you. And we're going to meet after this reach about maybe making a regional event. I want to do Reach Camp, where gamers touch grass.
Ooh.
So we'll have like a LAN, my IT guy's so into it, and we'll have like the LAN center, all of like the tech stuff, but also we could run high ropes. I have 1,000-foot zip line, archery, axe throwing, we could, canoeing. We have our own lake. We can do all that stuff too. So.
You're certified in high ropes?
Yes. Well, my husband is, but I am trained to work the ropes, but he is technically the certified person. I'm certified in archery. Yeah.
Yeah, I did have mine. I'm not certified anymore. I think it's expired or whatever. But I taught alternative ed, and we took our students to high ropes courses. So it was fun to do that. So yeah, I went through the training of that. So was able to run high ropes courses with kids, and it's amazing how, for those people that don't know, this is why I want to just kind of touch on it because you brought it up. Yeah. When you get people in a physical limitation, and then you bring up an emotional thing or another struggle in their life. And so just imagine you're climbing a wall and they're trying to get to the top of the wall and they get stuck. And you say, what is the thing that's keeping you stuck? And you name it, identify it, and then you encourage them, help them, and they physically move up the wall, how that is a psychological unlocking of stuff in their life that they're able to overcome. It is amazing how that happens.
Confidence booster of doing it after, because when they get down, I find it important to tell them, you look at them in the eye and you say, look, you can do hard things.
Yeah.
And they'll remember that. They can do hard things, and they did it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's also a lot of team building that goes around it as well. There's all kinds of things like that. Some you can't accomplish without a team in order to do things.
Yeah, that's a giant's ladder where the rungs get farther apart as you get higher, and two people go up at a time.
I don't think I've done that one.
Yeah, you have to eventually help the person. Like my husband and I did it, but really in the end, he was just pushing me up on that rung and then climbing up and then pulling me up on the other. But it was fine. We got there.
And I remember like the ones that were hard were like doing the 10-foot wall that you have to climb over. And then
we used to do that. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, having really specific limitations and guidelines on what you can do, can't do, because you have to keep people safe. And then
where you can touch.
Right. And then having some people with physical disabilities or weight issues, and you have to problem solve together as a team.
In a polite way.
Well, and it also in an open way to face the reality of stuff, which helps them face stuff that maybe they haven't faced before, which is really, really a cool thing. So yeah, I would love to have it be at a camp on some level, like hanging out in the dorms, hanging out all night.
Yeah, that's the thing. We could all stay up. We could all like the plate when you rent it, it's like yours, and it's where I work. So like we just hang out in the
or
dining hall.
His church can just build dorms. You know, that's the other option. His church can build dorms. Pods. Yeah, just drop pods off while I hang out.
Yeah.
Are you speaking at all this year?
I am. I'm again imposter syndrome. I'm like, and then I feel bad because I felt like I took the mic and did a speech when I wasn't planned to do a speech. I was planned to intro Cameron, and I'm allowed to say like follow PreePonee on Twitch, and I didn't. I shared a piece of my testimony, and because of that, and because it was received well, I think maybe that's why I was invited to talk. But yeah, so different creators are talking about different, different like there's MP,
different things, stats to level up. So thinking games, you have different stats to level up. So as a Christian streamer, there's different stats you can level up in your skill sets.
Yeah. So I'm doing MP. Which in gamer talk is magical power, but for
it's not magical pony.
No, I'm gonna use that. Hey, but we're talking about spiritual health. But I'm trying to tie it in to be more inclusive of people who maybe aren't there yet as well. So tying in spiritual health with mental health. And why that's important, not just in being a streamer, but also just as a healthy human. So yeah, that's what my talk's about. And I'm getting to do it with Basilisk IRL, which is like the big Rocket League creators.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
There's like a line that I wrote. I don't know who's going to say which slide yet, but there's one that's like, and we all know about leveling up in a game, hopefully. Well, some of us more than others. Well, Basilisk knows, but I have fun.
Well, yeah, and there is a level of trying to level up in your skills and where you're at. And, to go back to what I was saying with basketball earlier, Shaq, everybody got on him for not being able to shoot free throws. And so they're like, you need to practice this, you need to do better. No, what Shaq needed to do is spend time making sure when he was fouled, he still got the dunk. That's what Shaq needed to work on. And he got sidetracked for a while, focusing on what other people were telling him to do instead of leaning into his giftedness and making sure he was good at being able to be so good that nobody could stop him from what he was good at. And I think that's one of the things that all of these different areas we're focusing on are good, but like if I'm never going to be the expert in the room, I just want to get better at that thing. I'm not going to be the expert, but where I can be the expert, I need to lean into that and really hone and refine and get better at those things that I can contribute in a way that other people won't be able to.
Yeah, and I think it's so funny because I feel like we've gone around circle. In the beginning, we were talking about, um, how sometimes streamers resent others because they covet over things that they're doing, or we feel like we need to be doing something differently and kind of imitate other people. But how we were saying, you really need to lean into what you're. I have to refresh you again,
Oh,
but we need to lean into what our actual own gifts are. But then towards the end, we're talking about our own personal struggles and what we struggled with. And we're saying that we struggled with imposter syndrome
right.
because we didn't feel like we were all these other things. But the thing is that but we know, but it hasn't become, I guess, a heart knowledge yet.
Well,
But we know like that the world doesn't need another Basilisk. It doesn't need another Akin fam. It doesn't need another, like, all these are great people, but they're already doing their thing. The world needs Flatcap to be doing what he's doing,
yeah. Well, what's interesting on some level is this is a new experience for me to feel like I'm an imposter, because most things that I've set out to do, I did some training or I did other things, and then I had gifts that I knew I was bringing, and I knew I was good at what I was doing. Where did I find training to be a Twitch streamer? There isn't. You don't take a course in it.
No.
You can have
A lot
people.
of YouTube.
Well, I'd say you can have people instructing you on YouTube, and you can watch other people
Yeah.
do it, but there's no, here's my certification that says I've made it. Here's
Yeah.
my proof that I have. Now I could say, oh, well, I'm made affiliate, so that must prove that I am. Or I have this many followers, that proves I am. Or I have this many that are my average viewers, that proves I am. None of those prove anything. And then it's like, well, if I made partner, it would prove it. Well, that wouldn't prove it either. Like there's this like undefined, how do you quantify that you are, that's so different from anything else I've done in my life, that just is like, that's part of why I feel that way, is because I don't know what I'm supposed to be measuring that shows that I am a valid person at what I'm doing, as far as streaming. Now, to turn it and say, do I know I'm having an impact for the kingdom and bringing salt and light? Oh, I can talk about that all day. That part's easy to talk about as far as the ministry half of thing. But to talk about the side that says, are you a worthwhile streamer for people to pay attention to and to follow and to look up to? I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah.
And I'm striving to be that, and I'm striving to be better. But I could point you to 100 other people that I want to have on the podcast. That's like, they're so cool. I want them on my podcast because they're cool.
So last year and it's going to sound sad, but it's not sad. I came to this conclusion, and it was so freeing, that I will never be enough. And I don't have to strive,
Yeah.
because God is enough. And yeah, and it sounds sad if you're not in that kind of mindset or that relationship with God. But for me, it was so freeing. Like, okay, it's not on me, it's on God. And all I have to do is just try. Just show up and try. And if I mess up, God's a redeemer. So
Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, that is so true. I tend to go with, I think Paul says, when I am weak, then I am strong. It's
Yeah.
like so many things that I've done in ministry, I had the strength to do. I had the ability to do. I could rely on my own strength and do them. And then I can look back and go, was I doing those in my own strength, or was I doing those in God's strength? And maybe I needed to do some things more out of his strength than my own. And as I am in the streaming world and the digital online space, I don't feel like I'm doing stuff in my own strength. I'm doing them out of my personality and who I genuinely am. So I'm being honest and transparent and in that way, which I don't know how to do it otherwise. But the doing it out of my weakness is what I feel like I'm doing all the time, which I think is where God wants me right now. So I think I'm in a good spot, even if I wish I felt confident and I wish I was.
Yeah.
But I also, for most of my life, have struggled with pride and being boastful. And that's an easy default. I don't feel that way in digital space. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that so the last IRL, once a month, I have a young adult in real life like get together. We do an activity, we do a meal, we do Bible discussion. And the last one we had this past month, we did on James 1, and we talked about how what does it mean to count it all joy? What does it mean to be
Ooh,
blessed,
yeah.
to be persecuted? And why is that a good thing? Because it doesn't feel good, right? So like let's actually talk about that. Like, why can that be good? Because it does not feel good. And and talking about the importance of humility. And unfortunately, we're a people that have to learn through experiences. And when so if we are not humble, we need to be humbled, and it will happen. And like, so Sketch is in the chat right now. He said like yesterday, maybe in Discord, or the day before, because it's been on my mind of like trying to remember humility. And he said like something about, I don't remember, it was something that like that. And I was like, well, thank you for the reminder of humility, because if I don't remember, then God reminds me. So
Well, that's funny. That's funny, actually. So that's what we looked up on stream today on my regular stream. We looked up humble and went through the Old Testament and New Testament, looking at where passages talk about being humble, and God opposes the proud, but gives grace to
yeah.
those who are humble, and He lifts up those who are humble, and just that whole idea of what pride and selfishness do is they elevate you, and what humility does is it has a proper position for God and a proper understanding of your own position, and it is elevating other people and pointing people to
Yeah.
God. And
Mm-hmm.
it is so easy to switch between those two, of loving God or loving self. Like, which one am
Yeah.
I? And loving God also includes loving your neighbor. So it's like, it's selfish or it's loving God and loving neighbor. Those are the two poles that we bounce between, and
Yeah.
pride goes to the self, and
Yeah.
humility goes towards God and others.
And it is a blessing to be stripped back
Yeah.
sometimes, because if you're not, we've been doing a lot of DIYing our house, and my house is from the 1860s.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it's in it, and it was all plaster still, and plaster and
Oh,
lats and
the
all
lat and
that. And
plaster?
so yeah, so
Nice.
and actually my husband and I are not, neither of us, like he's from England, like like around Manchester, so he's like a city guy, and we're not construction people, so we literally are just YouTubing how to rebuild our house. But you think about when you're like working on a home, and for years and years, so some floors had like 6 stacks of linoleum,
Oh
and
my. Yes, I know.
some rooms had like 5 things of wallpaper, right, one over the
Oh,
other.
yes, yes.
And the thing is that sure, you can keep trying to fix it from the outside, but you have to. What we did is we took down the plaster, we ripped out the lath, like we rebuild it from the bottom. And what happens is when we try to build things on our own, like maybe you start well, you got an okay foundation, that's great, and then you get a little messy along the way. Well, you can't just like, it's not going to be sturdy if you just start good up here. Like, it's got to be taken back down, and it might be painful, and it's going to be painful, it's going to be hard, and the Bible promises that life's going to be hard, but we're promised we won't be alone, and if we allow God to move in it, he will rebuild us. But there has to be the stripping back, and it doesn't feel like a blessing, but you can look back, and when you're in your home, when the home of your heart is beautiful, and be like, oh man, thank you so much for that hard experience that I had to go through, whatever it was. And you can reflect back and see how those hardest times in your life are also the times that were the most formative
Oh,
for
yeah.
you, if you choose to let God move in them.
Yeah, absolutely. When you are going through those dark times, and Joseph, I think, is one of the really easy ones to go look at, of going through struggles, life coming against you, it not being of your own doing, and then it gets worse. Like, you're trying to deal with it, and it ends up worse. And then finally, eventually, you get to a spot, but then you can look back from perspective and see what
Yeah.
God did in him. Because unlike a lot of people, I think Joseph is an arrogant young man who is braggadocious and flaunting his dreams in front of his brothers. It's no wonder they despise him and treat him the way they do, because it's the younger brother. Now, maybe I say that because I had a younger brother, and my younger brother always was trying to get me in trouble and those kinds of things, well, much like my younger sister did as well. So maybe I just bias towards that. But I see the change from before, when he's with his brothers and when his brothers show up again, and he has that change of heart and a change of perspective to say someone can intentionally mean to harm you, and God can take that intentional harm and make it into something beautiful. And
Yeah.
and I just think that's so amazing. So yeah,
And it doesn't mean that original intention of harm came from God, but he
no,
did
yeah.
choose to redeem it.
And that's why I was trying to say they intentionally meant
Yeah.
it for harm. So I'm not saying
Yeah.
God meant it for harm. I'm not saying, and then people will say, well, why doesn't God intervene? It's a great question.
Yeah.
I wish he would intervene in places in different times, and I'll get to ask him someday. But I don't know, without being God, I could ever comprehend that.
Right.
So there's a level at which that it's, yeah, I wouldn't wish half of the experiences of pain in my life on anybody, but I also, there's very few that I would risk undoing, because I wouldn't be who I am right now without those painful things that I experienced that now have me in a place where I am, I would say, much more gracious towards other people, much more considerate of other people. Instead of thinking of myself first, I'm usually thinking of others first. But God had to bring me to that point through lots of life experiences to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So since it just went by, and we were having this conversation before we got on, just chatting back and forth
Yeah.
about Right Now Media. So anybody that saw that in the chat, if you go to theChurch.digital /Right Now Media, you can sign up for Right Now Media for free. So just to give you an idea, it has
I did it.
content for small groups, for kids, for self-study. It's 100% free. You can sign up. You can share it with other people. So it's like Netflix for faith development. Is a good way to describe it. So you were asking me, can you share it? Are you free to do studies with it? Yeah. It is free. You can access it. You can share it. You can do studies with it. I would not stream it, though, because while the content is available to use, it's meant for groups to do it. So I wouldn't stream it, because you'll probably get into copyright stuff, because most of it's copyrighted stuff.
So I'm going to have, the first one I'm going to do is in November. I'm going to do it in Discord. So anybody can message me if they are interested in going, but it's very timely because it brings up what we were just talking about. The title is called Working Through. The blurb is pain, suffering, and grief is something that everyone will have to walk and navigate through. It's part of life. Nobody gets to leave unscarred. Jesus made it clear throughout Scripture that we will have troubles with many of those coming in the form of pain, suffering, and grief. And it goes on to explain a little bit what the topic's about. But I had somebody in my Discord say, they DM'd me and said, I'll go to whatever program you lead next. But what I would really love is to talk about so this is someone who started going to my alpha, who said they were not Christian, because they had I've met with them since, with a priest who goes to the programs as well. We met in person and we prayed with them together.
Super cool.
And we learned that they've had a lot of church hurt. And so they've gone to all of my programs since that alpha program. And I've done maybe 4 or 5 since online. So they are obviously interested to pursue this possible, being a Christian, but they have a lot of things they're working through. So they DM'd and said, I would love to do a program that talks about real stuff, like how to trust God when the world's on fire, and how to trust people in church when everybody's a hypocrite
Ooh.
and they hurt you, and how to trust in God when he allows all these bad things to happen. And so I think that's the program that God led me to, and so that's what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
And the conversations will get real, and that is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at times, and I've heard this with several different people that are more prominent figures that have identified, like they grew up in Christian faith and they've left their faith. They're probably identifying as agnostic more than atheists. It's like, hey, I'd like, I've left what I grew up with as a Christian faith, and I'm trying to figure out what I do and I don't believe and what I'm willing to. But one of the things that a lot of them identify is this absolute rigidness of, we know everything is correct in our beliefs over here, and everyone who doesn't believe the way we do in the entire world is completely wrong. Even other Christians are wrong if they don't believe the same way we do. And that's so detrimental, because as soon as you find something that you question, you have to question everything. Instead of having the position of saying is, this is a hard thing to understand. I don't know if I can fully grasp it. Or that's a great question. I've struggled with that question and I don't have a satisfactory answer. What's funny is on some of those topics, I'll say that, and then some people will try to convince me. It's like, oh, I know what you're going to say. I know all the arguments. I find none of them satisfactory. I can't comprehend. Like, it satisfies you. That's great. It doesn't satisfy me, because here's my problems with it. But I love to be able to sit in the unknown, in the mystery, which I don't think we do enough of. And
I mean, isn't that faith?
oh yeah,
Like, if we knew it, like if God spoke to you directly every truth of the world, you would require no faith to follow him.
What? You mean? Hey, Zach Lee, welcome in.
Hey. Yeah, and I agree. And there's certain even topics that I don't talk about, and I never have, even in my ministry role within my diocese. And both bishops I've served have agreed with my husband and I choosing not to share. I don't even share with my mother. My husband and I, there's certain topics only we will discuss with each other, because I know that it will hinder my ability to serve others.
Right.
Because if they learn this conviction that I have, then they will assume other things about me. They will assume the way that I will love them. They assume the way that I will minister to them, and it's not going to be fruitful. I think, and I think it's hard for some people to understand, because the Bible does say that we need to be truthful and share the truth. But there's also times in the Bible where God had people hold their tongue. And so I don't think it's that odd that he has asked me to hold my tongue about certain things. And I don't know why people why do people feel passionate about knowing what you think sometimes? Shouldn't you be more worried about what God thinks? Why do you care? And for me, I know it's not true for everybody, and I respect different people's theology, but a lot of issues that are important, they're so important, there's spaces for them to be talked about, but I don't think they need to happen in my spaces. And even though they are so important, they're not the most important thing to me. And I think sometimes they overshadow the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
And where I differ in theology for some people is that I don't think that they're salvation issues. And so that is why I don't give them as much light as some people would prefer.
Oh, well, yeah, everything is not a primary issue. There are primary issues.
They become them in our minds.
Right. And there are secondary issues, that come about later. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's in a gradient between things. The way that my one seminary professor would do is he would stand at the lectern in the middle of the room and say, this is Christ and the centrality of Christ, and this is where we all have to agree 100%. There is no place in the room for anything other than this. And then he would start walking, and he'd get all the way to the door, and he'd say, everybody that's over here on how baptism happens, on how many sacraments they are, on which books are in the Bible and which ones aren't, we're still in the same room. Okay.
Yeah.
When you go outside the door and it's Buddhist and Muslim and atheist, we're outside the room. So we're still in the room. So the closer you get to the door, the less grace we give each other. And, or sorry, the more grace we have to give each other. Because it's like God will work it out. And this is part of my thinking on a lot of stuff is, how many people got it right when Jesus came the first time and understood what he was going to do completely? Well, in hindsight...
When he was there!
When he was there, yes. When he was there. Thank you for pointing that part out, too. They could not get it and fully grasp it even after the resurrection. He's with them for 40 days, and some still doubted. When he's they still have doubts when he's with them and he's resurrected Jesus, and they still have doubts. So why shouldn't we give grace to one another to say, you know what? This is what I say on my stream all the time is, I am convinced that 80% of what I believe is 100% correct. I just don't know which is the 80% and which is the 20%. So I am open to conversations for God to speak through you to help me understand things I don't know. And I want to help you find those things that you don't know in another way. And I can't wait to find out if I'm even close to 80% right when we get there. Wouldn't that be cool if I was exactly 80% right? But
also beautiful to be like, and it's okay if I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay if I'm not.
Yeah.
And I didn't burn any bridges about it. Over the issue.
Yeah.
And I had recently I was at church last week. My priest gave a sermon that really spoke to me, and what he did is he articulated something that I felt a long time and haven't been able to articulate myself. And he said that relationships, and people that are from my stream have heard this before, he said relationships are like a bridge. And I don't know if this is like a popular sermon, but this is what he said. He said relationships are like a bridge. And when a bridge is new, when a bridge is flimsy, you don't put heavy stuff on it. It's not, the heavy, important things are going to fall. The bridge is going to be broken. It's not going to bear any fruit. Right? But when you have a solid bridge, when you have a relationship built on a firm foundation, that relationship, that bridge can hold the weight of things. That is when you can share, and we are called to point out to our brothers and sisters when we don't think that they're living the way that they should be living. But you need to have, it's almost like not in a manipulative way, but you want to think of like, almost like chess, where if I do that, what's going to happen?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So like, is that going to bear fruit? Is this the best timing? Is this God's timing right now? We don't typically have many Bible thumpers on the corner of streets anymore, because they don't have to anymore. They can just do it online. They can just jump on X, right? And say whatever. And I don't know if that's fruitful, but I also have to be mindful that is their convictions, which I think sometimes we don't acknowledge, is that God calls everybody to live differently. And so while God calls me to hold my tongue about certain things, he has called others to speak up about it. And it doesn't mean that both of us could be right. He tells us different things.
Yes. Well,
so for the people in my life and the things that God is doing around me, he wants me to shut up about it. And I am a yapper, so it is hard.
I don't know anybody that likes to talk. I mean, I just go on a podcast and talk for 2-3 hours or more, and we go wherever the wind blows and however long we decide to stay.
So people recently made me feel really insecure about that. And then Sketch was also in the chat, was like, DM'd me, and I didn't even say that it made me insecure. He just knew it because he knows me. We're close. And he was like, it would be really lame if the streamer didn't talk. Like, it's okay that you're talkative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like probably God gave you that on purpose, and it makes people who aren't very chatty feel better because you can just chat.
Well, I think most pastors can just hold up a conversation for a long time. Now, there are some people that I've run into that, like, personality-wise, I can't hold a conversation with them. Like, I'll ask them open-ended questions, and they'll just like have the shortest, succinct answer with nothing for me to add. Like oh man, like I had one guy that was on the board with me for 3 years, and if there was not a third person with us after about a year and a half, we both acknowledged we couldn't hold a conversation and we weren't going to try. It's like we both thought each other were great. The two of us couldn't hold a conversation together, which was like, and I didn't want to just sit there monologuing for 20, 30 minutes, boring him to death or anything. So it was, all right, we'll just sit here, wait for your wife, or we'll wait for someone else in the church, and then we can have a conversation. But the two of us together could not hold a conversation. It was the weirdest thing.
That's funny.
Yeah. Just thinking about so you've got some things that you're planning on doing for teaching. What about on stream? Do you have anything new that you're planning on trying or doing, or what have you got that you're thinking about maybe starting coming into the new year?
So I plan everything by month, and this past month has been absolutely crazy. October, I don't think I streamed alone in October. I think it was like the biggest collab. I like to play with people all the time, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go hard. I'm going to DM everybody and give them that I know streams during me. I'm going to give them all of the dates and see what they want to play and just coordinate them all. It wasn't even just one person collabs. It was like repo with like 9 people. I have an Among Us coming up with 25, or not 25, with 15, and they're all reach people, 15 people. So I'm going to continue. I just started them up again. So once a month, I'll do my Among Us stream and keep collaborating. And yeah, I have this month is my stream anniversary, so I have a special stream anniversary stream.
Ooh, when is that, so that people can find that?
Let me look it up in my Discord. And also we reached our follower goal last month of 2,000 followers.
Oh, cool.
So we're celebrating that. Which is going to be a cosplay stream, Sailor Venus.
Ooh.
And that's all this week or next week.
Oh, well, while you're still looking that up, should say that there is at Reach this year the theme of cosplay.
Yeah.
So are you cosplaying all 3 days?
I'm conflicted. No, I'm not streaming all 3 days because Thursday, yeah, I'm not, because I'm speaking one day and I don't think I should dress up the day that I speak. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what to wear.
Oh,
I want people to take me serious, but
well,
I don't know.
I'm supposed to speak too.
What are you doing?
And are you cosplaying? I am cosplaying. Every day? Every day.
And I'm not like a cosplayer. Are you a cosplayer?
Okay, so I would say I'm a theater background. So had cosplaying been a thing back when I was in college, I would have ended up being a cosplayer and probably a LARPer. But
that's why I want to do a Reach camp.
Yes, but I didn't end up doing that because I had kids, and then I didn't do any of that stuff. So my wife and I have just decided to start going down the road of cosplay. So we went to Renaissance Fair and did cosplay. Fun. So I'll be bringing that costume, and then I've got another one that I did earlier. I did a cosplay event at the local brewery earlier like back in March or something like that. So I've got that costume, and I have one more that I just got. That my wife and I are going to do together for Halloween. So I've got 3 outfits. I've just got to decide which day I'm supposed to be speaking and have the most generic one for that day, I guess. But it won't matter. You're still cosplay, so it'll be like nobody else is dressed like you, and you're up on stage. What's going on? So
yeah, I guess it'll be good for marketing for the next year.
There we go.
So my My 4-year stream anniversary is on October 30th. So what is that,
Oh,
Halloween or something?
no, that's the day before Halloween.
The day before? Okay. My 2K follower cosplay party is the day after on Halloween. So I'll be dressed up for
Oh,
Halloween, a Sailor
okay.
Venus.
Oh, that's a good plan. You're doing a
They're just
cosplay.
regular hours. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, it'll be good. At Reach, I'm going to do the Sailor Venus because the reason I'm doing Sailor Venus is because Corky, who is coordinating like all of the cosplay, if people don't know Corky Bug, they probably do. But she invited me because they're doing like a sailor group. So there's all the sailors will be there all at the same time. That's on Friday. And then the other one I'm bringing is Toadette. I have like, where is it? Oops. I have like the Toadette hat.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have like the hat and I have the actual costume, but I ended up buying things instead because I didn't want to be like costumey. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think cosplay will add like a lot of fun to it. So, and I'm not a theater background, but I am a clown background by accident.
Oh.
So yeah.
A clown background.
Yes, by accident.
That feels like another podcast to go down that road.
Yeah. I got tricked into taking clowning, but it didn't stop my fear. in college, yeah, because I was English language arts, so.
Cool.
I took improv too. That was fun. That was
more fun my goodness, improv is so
than scaring children.
For the people that don't know, all you need to do to learn improv is to say yes and. That's all you need to do. So no matter what the other person says, you say yes to it and you add to it. And it's like you just get the most obnoxious, ridiculous stuff that you can. It's just you always accept what the other person brings and says, and then you run with it and you add to it. That's just the key. It's just like you have to have the mindset, yes, and. So that's my little clue there on doing improv, which is super fun.
Yeah, that's good. I liked it. It was hard being a Christian in improv, but that's probably a different podcast too. But
yeah, that's a different podcast.
In college, you're in college and you have to do improv with people who are not Christian. Yeah, me too. Okay, Valdez says they're afraid of clowns ever since they watched It when they were a kid, and that is it. I was so afraid of It, and yeah, they made me do it for a PE course. It was not.
I don't think I've ever seen
There were real
It.
children there. I always say there's nothing worse than your own trauma than creating the trauma you had in somebody else.
Oh.
That lives with you.
Oh, that's... Well, and I think that, like talking about that too, if you're going to talk about your trauma is informing people that you're going to talk about some heavy things or some trauma and letting them know. The same way that if you're going to talk about something that might trigger other people, like I'm going to talk about church hurt. I want you to know we're going to address some things. So be prepared. Yeah. Now, what's hard if you're doing that on a stream is you can't stop every time a new person joins, and you don't know when a new person joins to be able to give those warnings, but you do what you can. So,
yeah.
Jim M saying, do you want to see It? Probably not. But I also did go to Jason Takes Manhattan back when I was either in high school or college with a friend of mine, and we sat in the back row laughing hysterically because some of it was so ridiculous. I'm sorry, Jason has a hockey mask on. You're a boxer, so you're going to punch him in the hockey mask. Like, are you an idiot? Have you never boxed before? Punch him in the belly. Punch him in the body. Like, why are you punching him in the mask? Like, it was so like
funny.
Like we're sitting there laughing and other people are scared and screaming and we probably ruined it for them, but yeah, but I never got into horror movies or whatever. I also really don't like if you get into some stuff that has a spiritual, supernatural edge to it, that's in the creepy realm, I tend to stay away from it. But I'm not saying everything, you know.
Yeah.
There's just sometimes it's like, oh no, this is too real, and it feels like it's actually connected to the spiritual realm, not just Hollywood producing something that's fake.
No, I agree. I think it makes you vulnerable to things.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I agree. I used to be very interested in like ghost stuff.
Mm.
And it's also my deepest real life fear. And had experiences in my home or whatever, and but also was very fascinated. So I was like watching ghost shows, like the ghost hunter things. I think the worst one that I watched was the mediums,
Oh.
who I think there might be some reality to what is going on too with some of those people.
Oh, I
Like I
absolutely
think
think
maybe
there
they are
is.
connected to this, and I'm watching it. And I'm so scared that I'm like actually crying. Like I'm actually crying. And then I had weird dreams and experiences. And I don't play scary games usually. I didn't share this. I guess trigger warning.
Yeah.
I didn't share this on stream or anything, but I played Phasmophobia. And my, and this might be just like a weird thing, I guess. I woke up and I had a scratch. I don't know if anybody saw it. I don't know if you can still see it there. I had a scratch across my nose. Maybe in a VOD, you can see it recently. And I don't know what happened. I was like, maybe my ring got me because I sleep with my ring on, or my nail, whatever. And I just went about my life. And the next morning, my husband woke up with like 10 scratches by his ankle, like
Oh.
scratch marks. And he woke up and he's like, what's this about? And he didn't know about my nose. And I don't know. I just got a weird feeling of like, I should stay away from spooky stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I played a lot of D&D back in high school and into college, and I didn't have any issues with feeling like it was supernatural and real. It's a game and it's all of that. And I know that other people might not feel that same way. But we were always trying new games. We did Cthulhu, and for those that don't know, that is really trying to call on spirits and do some stuff with there. And Cthulhu's like the big
I've
one.
never heard of that.
It's called the Call of Cthulhu, and we played it like twice, and I felt the spirits were in the room and other stuff was happening, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I am not playing the game. You guys are welcome to play it.
Is it a video game or what is it?
No,
Like a board game,
like tabletop RPG.
Oh, okay.
So, so you're creating characters that are traveling through and all of this stuff, and it was just like, no, this is in some way probably connected with some real life connection to the spiritual world. And it's like you go through the Old Testament, and Jesus, and God is saying, don't go to mediums, don't go to these other things. He doesn't say don't go to them because they don't work and they don't exist. He's telling you don't go to them because they do exist and they're not the real God. They do have some power. They do have some stuff, and they're going to mess with you and or deceive you. And so stay away from them, not because they're phony. Why would God need to stay away from something that's phony? Like, I don't need to tell my kid to watch out for the stuffed animal because it could attack you. I tell my kid to watch out for the rabid dog because the rabid dog could actually hurt my kid, So I don't have to warn my kid against a stuffed animal that's not a real animal. So why would God warn us against something that's not real? It is real. That's why he warns us against it.
I think when you give it attention, it's like almost like an invite of, hey, I'm open to this right now. Even if you don't think that you're doing that, I think it's in some way can do that for sure. And we are told like to fix our mind on heavenly things. So yeah,
that's a much better thing. Think of those things that are pure and holy, and I can't remember the whole passage there that's focusing on things.
Look it up, guys.
Yeah. Somebody
you can Google it, keyword it.
I usually have one or two people in the chat that are like boom, 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 and I'll paraphrase something. They're like, boom, here it is.
There it is.
I struggle anymore to actually do a good job of quoting scripture because I memorized it as a kid in one version. I read it in seminary in a different version. I preach it in another version. I do Bible study online in a different version. And I also know Greek and Hebrew. So, like, I don't know what version I'm quoting.
Whoa, you know Greek and Hebrew.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
it's like I got part of it right. I know what it's implying, and which
I know the intent. I think.
Yeah.
I like to think I know the intent. Yeah, I think that's true for me too, and not because I'm as knowledgeable as you, but because I don't really teach in the club, in the pony club. We discuss. I let the scripture talk, and we all just kind of share. But when I do teach for youth, and when I do, I'm trying to put things in their language. So I'm like, I read the verse once, and then I'm like, yeah, like this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And I'm convinced that the best way that we do the Bible is in community, not alone. That's how we're supposed to do it, is in community. It's also meant to be read out loud.
Yes. Have you heard of Lectio Divina?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that is like a huge thing at my center right now. We have this huge initiative. We actually got a $1 million grant to do programming but it's very specific on how we can use it. It's a 3-year plan, and it's supposed to serve our parishes. And so we do in-house programming things, but we do programs at the churches too. But yeah, it's all about, for people who don't know what Lectio Divina is, it's like it's a old practice of how to read by Saint Benedict. And when you learn how to do it, you learn that people are still teaching that's how you should process reading anyways. And what you do is you typically read it out loud, and we often practice it in groups. You read it out, scripture out loud, and you think about what is sticking out to you right then, and then you share that out loud with others, and then you hear the scripture again and see if something new, and then you read it again, and you see it like practically, like, why do you think God is bringing you that line right now? Like, why do you think that matters to you right now?
So like, if you read through, and a Sermon on the Mount would be really long to read, but if you read through a whole chapter, and then you would ask everyone what word or phrases stood out to you, have several people say, and no explanation to begin with. That's a really important thing. It's just like, let everyone hear what everyone else was hearing, and see what else that you weren't hearing, and then hear it again, and maybe some things get added and moved to it. So it's really trying to rely on the Spirit to speak through the whole of everyone that's present into that space and time, which is super fun, I think.
Yeah. It's a lot about living in community, so it's really cute when we do retreats. They're typically small, and they're like in our library building where they can eat simple meals they prepare together and live together. It's nice. A lot of monasteries have done the practice.
Yeah. And like I said, one of the things I really, really think is because the Bible was written to be read out loud to the people. And so the Bible is meant to be read out loud. Even if you're alone, read it out loud to yourself. Don't just read it internally, because your mind will hear things that your brain will not perceive just by reading it silently. Because especially the things that are meant to be repetition of words being repeated, you just don't pick those up. Like, you just heard me say it twice in a row, and you went, wait, you just said that twice. Yes. But if you read it twice in a row, you might have just skipped over it. But if I say words are repeated, you go, wait a minute. Now it takes holy, holy, holy 3 times in a row, then we notice it. But if it's, I say it in one verse, 5 verses later, I say it slightly different, but I use one key phrase. 10 verses later, I do it again. Your ears hear that, and your brain pays attention. And so that's one of the best things I think about doing that. So,
yeah. Yeah, sorry to go on that side thing. It just made me, I just wanted to...
You know what? I
like you. We never chat.
I am all down with going on like you're like I needed more information on what this was going to be. Nah, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I do. Here's the things I'm
Yeah.
going to ask, and then whatever else we get stuck on for conversation is what we're supposed to talk about.
Yeah. And it's nice because I love all people. I respect all different faith backgrounds, but I'm a cradle Episcopalian. So I am a churchy Christian. I just am. And I don't see a lot of churchy Christians online. So I get excited when like people know, I don't know if a lot of other Christian content creators would know like what Lectio Divina is. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I've
like, like, so it's like, it's nice.
well, I would say likely pastors might know what it is, even if they've not practiced it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
I've
Well, I'm not a pastor. I'm just
right. I'm saying if your church hasn't
Yeah.
done it, you wouldn't know of it necessarily. But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Even a pastor might know who hasn't done it themselves because it probably would have come up in seminary at some point.
Yeah.
I happen to think it's a wonderful practice. Also, I think too often we don't involve people in the word often enough. Like it's, you sit there, I tell you what the Bible means because I'm the one with the education. And I don't think the Spirit is limited to me. I think there's plenty of knowledge sitting in the pews that has, like, they've heard hundreds, if not thousands of sermons. So why wouldn't God be speaking to them? They spend hundreds of hours reading the Bible. Why wouldn't God speak to them? It doesn't need to just be the pastor up front or the priest or whoever is up front doing it.
Well, and I think there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
True.
And I think wisdom is more spirit driven, and the Spirit can move through anybody. I've had a lot of like campers, like young kids, say things that are just like, wow. Like, you don't even know what you just said, but like that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah, that's very true. Why don't we just, unless you have some other stuff, but I was going to say, were there other things that we haven't talked about that you would like to share with people?
I'm looking at some like notes I wrote down just in case that I actually didn't have to use, but I think like we've already touched it a little bit, but I just want to encourage people that if you have a platform or if you want to start streaming or whatever you feel called to go do, we've already said a lot, like it's on God and it's his and it's not yours. But just really internalizing that, however, don't get caught up on numbers or like things that the world would find value in.
Yeah.
That's not where we should define what is success, because that's not what God defines as success. And just, like if your view count goes down or your average viewership or your subscriptions or like whatever it is that you're worried about, just realizing that's not a reflection of you. And it's not even necessarily a reflection of like the quality of your content. It's just a reflection of who needed to be there right then. It's different. And you just pray that God brings the people that needed to see whatever you're doing. And just try to pick goals that are more controllable of you. You can't control, like, I know I have like a follower goal, whatever, but that's not what my heart is set on. You can't control that, but you can
that's
control
also,
of like,
you can also view that as a community goal. That is a goal for the community.
Yes. That is a goal for the community,
not
and
for
there's
the
a reward
streamer.
for the community.
Yes, right.
Yes. It is like, if we make this, that'll be cool, and I'll do this for you guys. But, that's not, you set goals, and you don't have to share them even with other people. You can set goals just personally that you can actually achieve. Like, I want to get more confident about sharing my faith, so I'm going to share one scripture verse a week or whatever. Just pick things like that you can actually control your growth in, and not what the world would identify as successful, and deem that you're only successful if you reach those goals.
Yeah. I like to think of it in terms of your inputs. Measure your inputs because you have control over your inputs. Don't measure your outcomes. You don't have control over your outcomes. So
Yeah.
this is weird. I keep going back to basketball. I don't know why today I'm going to basketball. I never use basketball as an example.
Someone in the chat or in the VOD or in
I
the
don't know.
podcast.
I don't know.
This is for you.
But somebody needs to hear this. But if I want to get good at 3-point shots, I need to spend enough time practicing 3-point shots. And when I get good from one location, moving to another location, I need to practice that again and again and again. If I practice for 10 minutes a week, I'm never going to get good at it. So I can't control when I will get good. I can only control that I'm going to put the effort in to become good at it. So I'm going to put as much time as I can. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do an hour a day. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that week in and week out until I get good at it. And so I'm going to be able to put the inputs in so that the outcome I want is going to be able to come about. So that's one of the things I think about is all right, so in order to be good at streaming, I need to spend this much time doing these things. What are the other things I can control doing outside of streaming of, well, yeah, I'm going to make these things. I'm going to add this thing. I like that constant improvement, constant adding, constant getting good, but still the week in and week out things are the things I think are most viable for you is all right, I need to stream this many days. I need to do this while I prepare for stream. I need to do this after stream. Those kinds of measurable things so that you're always trying to get better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here. I only came for the basketball.
Yeah. And you can start with anything. Like, you
yeah.
don't have to wait until you have everything in line. So the period of time where I did the most growth, that late September to January when I was streaming every day or whatever, I was streaming on a 2014 Mac with just an Elgato capture card playing Fortnite through my Switch. And I used this same headset that's deteriorated. This is the headset I used, and this was actually my mic. It was my mic as well, and it sounded so bad. But that is the time where I did the most growth. I was just me. I was in my bedroom. Just I had to set up my stream. I set it up on this flimsy stand every time, and I had to break it down after every stream. I didn't have a neon light or anything. It was just my actual bedroom. I had no lighting. I had no ring light. And it just showed up, and I didn't worry about that stuff. And you don't always see the growth, I guess, that I was blessed to have, but that doesn't mean that you're not doing something that you're supposed to be doing. The fruit might be different, and you might never actually get to see that fruit. And so just be encouraged that if God has called you to it, then it's something that you should do. Don't keep dipping your toe in. It's not going to work until you dive in.
Well, whatever level you're at needs to be a consistent level. Yeah. I'd say I started one day a week, which, okay, if I can maintain 1 day a week, then that's where I can start. But if you can do more, 2 days back to back is a good place to be if you're able to work that out. You were saying you did 1 hour a day. So it's like there are ways to grow it based on going and exploring who you're trying to reach. There's also just you won't get good at what you're doing until you spend time doing it. So
yeah, and I had people kind of I knew that resented me for. I knew there were people that were further along than me in a worldly sense of numbers. And I know that there was a period that I surpassed some friends, and I know that there was some hurt from that. And I've heard them talk about that in other places, and I still love them, but I know that they shared it and there was hurt. But I forgot what I was even saying. So late. But also people forget that I was a YouTuber when I was 18. So I was creating content for 6 years, every day vlogging. And I don't have all the tech stuff, but I'm a conversationalist. And so all of us have different things. So I was already working on that before. So it does, it's more than just me being a girl. I've put in time. I've put in time.
Yeah, Eichmann here. David didn't just show up out of nowhere and defeat Goliath. He spent time tending sheep, warding off wild animals, and then he was ready when God wanted him to use him to defeat an enemy. That's so good. Yeah, Eichmann here. See,
beautiful.
If Eichmann here had been here the whole time, we'd have had every Bible quote we needed because he's so good at that. Yeah, just thinking about those things is, yeah, you don't know somebody's background to know what they're bringing.
Right.
You also don't know why people resonate with a given person. And, we talk about at times of what would you rather have as far as church planting world is, would you rather have 10 churches of 1,000 people or 1,000 churches of 10 people? Which do you think is going to make a bigger impact in their community? Well, 1,000 churches of 10 people have a better chance of reaching 20,000 people than 10 churches of 1,000 do of reaching 20,000 people. They're just going to have a greater impact because they're going to be able to hold each other accountable. They're going to be able to be connected with each other. They're going to be able to see growth in each other. They're going to grow in depth a whole lot more and on a different level. So to watch somebody else have numbers doesn't really tell you anything.
Yeah, I know people don't tend to believe people when they say this, but I want to be a small streamer, and it's true. And even in my real life ministry, when I first started as a director, we've lived through seasons where it was like, oh my goodness, there's not enough kids signed up for this program. Can we even afford to run it? Okay, so I've lived through that. That is scary thinking about, and it's okay for ministries to end. There's always a season where a ministry serves for a season.
All
and
the
it's
churches that Paul planted are all gone. There's no church.
And when it ends,
something
else is able to come from those resources, which is good. It's a good thing, but it's always a sad thing. And I didn't want that to happen because I love my camp. But now we're in a season where we're turning people away, and it's really sad. And we cap our retreats at 40 kids, and we have other cabins that we don't bother spiffing up. And we have enough volunteers where we could do that, and we could invest the money into those buildings, and we could bring more kids. But our mission, my same mission as on stream, is to build community in Christ. And we feel like through experience that community is best built when it is small.
Yes.
When we interview staff, we tell them that we are a small camp. We want to be a small camp. We have 100 kids on site a day, but that is 60 kids at our day camp program, 40 kids at our overnight program. We want every staff member to know every person's name. I want that in my stream too. I want every chatter. I mean, there will be new people that come in, and that's great, but I want the people who come in to feel known, and not just known by their handle, but to know Sketch drives his family everywhere. We know that, right? AJ Valdez, he's making all the stuff for Reach, and we love him for that. To genuinely know Nasiro, he's so funny, quirky, says he always makes us laugh. Just to deeply know everybody in the chat, and to be known by them. And to feel like you can build one of those bridges with the firm foundation, so that when you're going through a hard time, you feel like you have somebody that you can direct message, and they know you in the context of your life. They know your heart. They know your intent. They know your struggles. They know what you've been through. So when they speak to you, and even if it's going to be some heavy stuff, it's going to be heavy stuff said in love. And you can't get that in a big stream. And if it happens, if God makes that happen, I'll do it and I'll handle it. But I love having a small community. And I think if people could experience growth in areas, and then realize what there would be to lose if you went beyond where you are, maybe they would see it differently.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. One of the things the way that we would talk about the church digital is connection leads to community. Well, how do you lead the community? By knowing people. That's how you have community, by knowing people and being known by one another. So not only you as the streamer, but the people in your community know each other, knows what's going on, shares what's going on with each other. So that connection that they have leads to community, and you have that in your stream. And you're right. There's a level at which that becomes really, really difficult to maintain when you get past a certain level. For most physical churches, that's around the 250 mark. That
Yeah.
it is really hard to get above that level and maintain the ability to know everybody in the church and to
Yeah.
have a relationship. Now, you're still going to have people you don't know entirely in there, but as a church, everybody is going to have a status of feeling known or being known up to that ceiling. Depending on community, it might be lower, but or the skill level of the pastor, it might be lower. But 250 is a cap that it's like a ceiling that is hard to go
Yeah.
past, because once you go past it, there's people that will suddenly feel like they're no longer known and no longer seen. So they'll
Yeah.
leave and go elsewhere. Until
Yeah.
you develop something that's larger, that has a different method for what it's doing for people.
Right. Like, what's the first thing that big in-person churches do? They make small groups. They plug you
Exactly.
into a community that you can talk to, that are common to you. With my alpha, the reason why it worked and people kept coming is they had their small group of people like them that they could build relationship with. And it's like Church.digital. Like, it's this big group, but all these different streamers like yourself that are part of it, you are the small groups. And
Yeah,
and
we're
it's the
creating
same
what we
thing with
call
like,
outposts. So
yeah.
different people with different interests are going to resonate around the thing that they're doing in ministry. So I'm doing the gaming
Yeah.
outpost for the people doing gaming. Simon is in Europe. So he's doing our European outpost. Itope is in Africa. He's doing our African outpost. Tariq is in the Middle East doing our Middle East outpost.
Mhm.
We've got multiple people, and we keep saying, do we have enough people connected to a new area? We actually had a conversation with someone new talking about, I'd like to have an accountability group for being a YouTube streamer. Great. Do we have enough
Yeah.
YouTubers in the house? We're going to start a YouTube connection. I would love that. Let's help you get that
Yeah.
and create your niche around what your ministry area is to help one another. So it's
Yeah. And the same thing with, like, you look at Reach. Like, it's important that we all get together because then we sit in that room, because sometimes you feel alone.
yeah.
And it's not always like as a chatter, but sometimes as a streamer, you kind of, I don't know, it's this weird feeling because you don't see anybody else's face. Like, and it's like what you were saying, it's important to get with other people that are doing what you are doing because they
Right.
understand you in a way that no one around you in your real
Absolutely.
life will understand you. So when you sit and Reach, it's good to be like, wow, I'm not the only one. You know what I mean? But it's good to have our smaller communities that we are with throughout the year, that we get to have like those really meaningful relationships with, and accountability with, and prayer with, and just all those things, like to shoulder life together. And you can't shoulder life with people who don't know you or know what you're going through.
Yeah. This is some good stuff here. That's for sure. This is why I love doing the podcast. This is so much fun. Like, you also, like you're saying, it's also other streamers that know how to talk and hold a conversation, and we're just chatting together. And who knows? Who knows? Now, you're not the longest podcast, but you're certainly going to be up
You're gonna
there.
have to cut me off. I'll just keep thinking of topics.
Well, I will say I think that Sassinator Steph and G Funk are going to hold that record for a while, because
Yeah.
we did 5 hours.
Well, there was two of them.
There were two of them. So,
and let me tell you, so I love Steph. Okay, and we met. I always just had that feeling about her, even though she wasn't a cam streamer and I couldn't see her. I just felt. I know a lot of people feel connected to her, but I just felt so connected to her. And when we met at Reach, and then after when we came back from Reach, she like has gushed over me as much as I've gushed over her, and I'm so happy. And that is something that Reach gave me, is like, that's why it's so important to stay true to who you are, even if you feel like
yes.
even if you feel like you're alone in that, because you actually are. Like, we're all unique, and that's great. But there are people that are similar to you, and you will never find them if you change and don't be like yourself, right? So Steph is somebody who's uniquely her, and I'm somebody who's uniquely me. And we went about our lives feeling very lonely. We both lived in rural areas, feeling ostracized. Not everyone around us have been Christian, but we have had these convictions in the gift of faith. We're both probably Enneagrams too. She's going to take the test because I think we're the same. Um, and we're both lovers, and people also have both not believed us in our intent of loving others because they don't understand it. But we never would have found each other if we decided to conform, to be like other people. We never would have felt seen by just knowing each other. Anyways, that's my conversation about Steph.
Well, and we talked about this on the podcast. So I knew and had watched Steph for a while before Reach, and I also knew G-Funk Railroad, and we were in the snack room, and G-Funk is in there, and we were nerding out over some real deep theological conversation, and Steph came in, and she was really excited about that, joining in, but at times we were talking at such a high level about stuff and getting really excited, and Steph just kept kind of coming in like, okay, wait, what is that? Like, so we had to stop at times to help other people in the room, because like, okay, we're two of us, and there might have been a third person, I don't remember, who was also joining in, and we're just like super nerdy Greek and Hebrew and all of that. And I was like,
just followed.
Hey, wait a minute. These two are making a connection here. You know, like something's going on here. And I think I said it to somebody later on. And then by the end of Reach, I noticed they're spending a little time together here. And then when Steph had all the stuff happen with her, and needed us to step in and help with her getting back up to stream, it was like, oh yeah, I was right. Like as soon as, you know, G-Funk's like, oh, well, I'll step in and here's the stuff for Steph and here's what she needs and all this, I'm like going, oh yeah, I was definitely right. There was. So they even shared on stream that, like, do you remember when that happened? I go, yeah, I saw it. I saw that connection happen. I was right there and I was reading it and I didn't want to, you know, say anything, but I was like, oh yeah, I saw that happen.
Yeah, so I didn't see it at Reach, but I definitely, when everything went down and we were supporting her, I definitely felt that way. And she's like, how did you know? And I was like, well, actually didn't know that it was mutual. I was like, but I definitely knew that he had feels for you.
Yeah.
Because he was like in my Discord, which is totally fine because we have a promo and you're allowed to self-promote even in my chat. I don't care. But it was just like everywhere where you could self-promote, it was him like being like, Steph is going live. And and I was like, he's got it bad.
Yeah.
But I guess he's got it good.
Well, yes. They both mutually were smitten over each other, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So now we have to figure out who's going to be the romance this year at Reach. I mean,
I think a lot of people are afraid that people are thinking that. A lot of people are nervous to go because they're like, everyone wants to set me up with somebody.
No, it's got to happen natural. No setups.
Maybe some VTubers this year. We'll see. Some VTubers will get married.
All right. This has been great. Thank you so much for being on here. I'm now even more excited to be at Reach and to see you again. It's going to be super cool. I will be excited to hear about how your Bible studies go in your community. That's great. I'm glad I can help you out with that and be able to do that. That's going to be super cool.
That is such a blessing. Yeah, It's so amazing because I want to do online studies with my youth too, so it just works out perfect.
I usually, unless you're going to stay live, are you staying on?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay. I usually let whoever is on the podcast pick the person that we're going to raid out to. So,
okay.
And then we both raid out and get them a double raid.
That's fun.
Yeah, how often do you get a double raid? So it's fun that way.
Double raids. Oh, okay. I think we should do, I'm staying with this person at Reach.
Okay.
I think we should do Banana is a Hannah.
Oh, okay.
She's playing, because I love her, firstly. But
She's going to be on the
secondly,
podcast on Halloween.
oh, spooky, but spooky. So I'm staying with her at Reach. She came to my online programs, and I was gonna say another reason, but I don't remember. But she's really cool, so we should go there.
Yeah, awesome. We'll go over there.
Yeah.
Just because she is going to be on, and she did have, blowing up, going viral, and that kind of a thing. And we were having the conversation earlier about our stream size. And thank you for the follow, and being able to stay in a community size that we want to manage relationship. I was having several conversations with people like going, would you want to go viral? Are you prepared if that happened? And as interesting conversation, it was like, no, I don't think I am in a spot where I'm prepared to do that, because there's a level at which it would disrupt where my life is right now. And
honestly, like even tonight was hard with being like, hey, Jay, I'm not going to talk to you that much, because I just like will not, and I know you're the same, like nonstop, just talk to chat, even if someone is talking to me and we're playing a game, like I'm just going to go like mute in the Discord and talk to you guys for a second. I feel like you'd miss your friends. Like that you'd lose their messages.
Yeah. Well, I also, have always had this, like, I want to go be this. Well, why do I really want to go be that? Like I thought, hey, if I'm going to be a pastor, I want to be a pastor on TV. I want people to know me. Oh, wait a minute. Do I want people to know me, or do I want people to know Christ? So there's still that thing in the back of my head that if I blew up, would it cause me to get a big head about myself and be prideful and lose the mission that God's called me to? That's my fear. This
is going to start a whole other topic.
I know.
Because that is like something I've worked on and I'm working on, and I fear, and it was a big thing for me in the new year. My everyone does a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
My New Year's resolution was to not work on me, like to just be less of me. And that is honestly, that is partly why sometimes I've been dabbling in like being a VTuber. Sometimes there's a redemption where I can be a VTuber. That's why I constantly change my game. That's why every month I change my wig. That's why I change my clothes, I wear a lot of blush. I don't look like I look in real life, because I don't want it to be about Kate. And if I change all these other things all the time, then it remains to be about the one thing that is always the same: sharing the good news, prayer, being a Christian stream. And so it's something that I'm hyper aware of and super sensitive about. I had a friend once write me a letter when they went to college. I was 19, and it still haunts me. She wrote me a letter. She was very upset with me, and she said that I think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't feel like that was my heart, but maybe it was. I grew up very insecure because it's the people pleaser in me, and God did a lot of work on me that by people pleasing, it's sometimes good because I love people, but sometimes my people pleasing is because I want to be loved.
Yeah.
And I care what people think about me.
Yeah. Well, and I think people pleasers can be misunderstood in lots of different ways of why are you doing this and what are you trying to do? And it gets misread, where myself, on the other hand, I did think I was better than most people. So I'll just own that.
That letter.
I just own that. I didn't when I got to middle school and everyone's trying to be like everyone else, I went, I'm here, be like me. Why don't you want to be like me? Hello? There's nobody better than me. Why? Yeah, it's awful. I know. But
it's not awful.
But it is awful to think everybody wants.
It's awful to not like yourself. To love ourselves.
That part is good. I was.
We need to be in the middle.
I was turned up to 11 on that, So
yeah.
It was no, everybody wants
Sketch says, thanks for saying that, Pastor.
Yeah.
So you're not alone.
Yeah, everybody wants to be like everyone else, and I want to be like nobody else. It's I'm going to be exactly who which at times I realize how grating I can be on people with that. I
Mhm.
realize how I sometimes isolate myself by the fact that I am so different from everybody else, because like you can only
Yeah.
take so much of sometimes what I am. But I'm not alone. I have a wife, I have family, I have friends, but at times it's like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I don't have, and part of it's too, like, I've moved so many times and lived so many places and started over so many
Yeah.
times. I don't have lifelong friends that live down the street that I've always gone on vacation with or always hung out or any of those kinds of
Yeah.
things. So,
No, I relate with that, even though from mine is for different reasons. Mine's just from just feeling isolated as a Christian and not finding people that I share values with. And that is something like that is why it meant so much to go to Reach and meet Steph. Like I love my husband. My husband is enough, and I have great friends. I do have great friends. I have good Christian friends that I met through the camp, but I just felt like she was so similar to me, and I don't know, because of this whole experience,
well,
I just felt
there's a
very
kindred
seen.
spirit there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I love Steph for who she is, and I see a lot of me in Steph, and it allowed me to love myself a little more,
Yeah. Well,
you
I
know?
just had that. I just went to Hope Con, and I saw a lot of who I was 30 years ago in somebody
Oh.
else. And it was like, oh man, this is fun.
Oh.
This is fun to see that. So, all right, we ready to? Oh, before we raid out, um, oh, I just hit a follower goal, like they just the natural ones that it says. So just hit
Yay!
430 followers on the Church Digital podcasts or the Church Digital
Aw.
channel. So thank you everybody that
Yeah,
followed
everybody
today.
go follow if you haven't. He's gonna be interviewing Banana, and you
Yes,
love Banana. So make sure you
yes.
follow and then you get a
Next
notification.
next Friday, Halloween at noon Eastern time. Hannah is or Banana is a Hannah is going to be on the podcast. That's a reschedule. She was supposed to be on earlier a couple of weeks ago. I ended up doing a graveside for my best friend, grandmother. And so we rescheduled, and I'm super excited about that. I don't have any scheduled for November yet, so I got to work on that. Yes, we're going to go raid
So
Banana as a Hannah.
so I do have a prayer request. We can end the
Oh, I was going to
stream
ask
together
if,
if you'd like,
yeah.
or
Oh, no, I
first,
was
or if
just
you're
going to
okay with
ask
me
if you had a
praying.
prayer request. Do you have one in your chat too?
I have one in my chat, yeah. Do you have one as well?
No, I was just going to
We
ask
can
if you had
do?
anything we
Okay.
could pray for you about.
Oh, for me personally.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love um just discernment
Mm,
for yeah, just discernment, mostly around streaming, and just if there's any next thing that I should be like doing, something that I should change, or just whatever, just discernment.
okay. Okay. Um, I'll pray for that. If you want to pray for whatever you had in your stream, and then we'll
Yep.
raid out. Sound good?
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Yep.
God, I just thank you for this conversation that we've been able to have here, and just the connections in the community in Twitch of striving to be salt and light in this place. God, I just thank you for that. I thank you for PreePonee and for her heart for you, her love that she has, the way that she brings that into this space. I just thank you for her. I just pray for discernment for her in the streaming space. What is she supposed to be doing? What's next for her? Is it continuing what she has already been doing? Is it more collabs? Is it something new? Is it thinking differently? Just pray for guidance, for direction, for clarity. Give her peace of mind when that is figured out, and may you just continue to bless her to be used by you to bless other people. Just pray this and thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. That's so. I don't get prayed for a lot. I like pray a lot because I lead groups and stuff, like in
Yeah,
real life, and that was nice. Thank you.
absolutely.
Is there anything that we can pray for you? And then I also have, if anybody else wants to redeem prayer in the chat.
I have a lot of travel coming up. So
Mm.
I will be at Exponential West Conference next week, which is out in San Francisco. And then I'll be back, and then I'll be at Reach Conference, and then I'll be back, and then I'll be on vacation. And I don't know what else I've got going on off the top of that, but there's like, I'm going to have a lot of,
You're just a nomad your whole life. Just
well,
travel, travel, travel.
like that is not untrue. But there's a toll that travel takes. And so part of it is like, we're coming into the season of sickness, and I'm going to be on airplanes, and I really want to stay healthy. And
yeah, because vacation's at the end.
yeah. So I really want to stay healthy. Well, I don't want to be a spreader of whatever, so I don't want to go and get sick and then bring it to other places where I'm expected to be and do that. So, and then also that much travel is disruptive to life and streaming and all of that. So just trying to stream when I'm supposed to in the midst of all of that, which I have no idea. Like, I'm going to bring my laptop and plan to stream, but then
and your wife's not a streamer.
No, my wife's not a streamer. No, I won't stream when we're on vacation. That's a no-go absolutely on vacation. But at but at the conferences, I'll bring it along and have good intentions to stream, but I don't know whether I will or not. Depends on roommates and all that stuff, but
yeah, I understand. Yeah. I'd love to pray for that. And then in the meantime, King, if I don't know if you feel like you can share, is it like this person's openly talking about these issues? Is there something more specific? If not, I can pray vaguely, because God knows. It's not, my prayer isn't magic, it's God. So, okay. So God, we just thank you for this opportunity to come together, these two communities that are actually just one community in your name, Lord. We just thank you so much for the gift it is to know every single person here, and for trusting us to be a part of their lives. And we thank you for the blessing that they are also to our lives. We pray for Flatcap and all of his upcoming travels to San Francisco and Reach and his vacation. And we just pray for immunity, that you would help him, not catch any sickness, but also that you would keep any sickness far from him, and that he would not be a carrier or a spreader of this. We pray for rest. If he gets 4 hours, that you would just make it somehow feel like 10, that you would just supply everything that he needs, that you would give him his daily bread, whatever it is that he needs to not only do what he needs to do in the day, but do what you have called him to do and live it out the way you have called him to do, right down to his attitude, Lord. We just pray that you move through him in all ways, so that when people are experiencing a relationship with him, that they are actually experiencing a relationship with you, Lord, in all of these spaces, even on vacation. We just pray for opportunities to for him to show who you are to others, Lord, even if it's not sharing that it is from you, that they would just somehow know that this man is different, and that he'd be encouraged that it's okay to be different, and that it's okay to know that he is different and special and unique, and it's great to be him. We also pray for balance, Lord, that you would just give him discernment of when to stream, when not to stream, when to, do whatever, all the things that he needs to do, that you would just guide him and lead him, and let all of the unimportant things just fall away from the day, Lord. And we just pray for balance even outside of all these travels, Lord, of streaming and being a pastor and being a husband and being all of the things that you have made him to be, Lord, that you would just guide him in all of these aspects. We ask for these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. I just want to check chat real quick before we continue, because if anybody added any information. Oh, it's my Raider. Hi, and also welcome still to the Pony Club. You're now a little pony. Welcome in. So, King has a prayer request for a really good friend of ours who is having a hard day, which is actually really magical, because they're talking about who we're going to raid, which is Banana. So I think it's a God thing that we chose Banana. Awesome. And then somebody randomly King didn't know that we selected Hannah to raid. And it looks like she needed it. So thank you, God, You're already leading us in the discernment that Flatcap asked for.
Yes.
Thank you. So yes. So God, we just thank you so much for our friend King and how great he is for the community and how caring and loving and how I see so much. I know I experience so much of you through King, Lord. And
Mm.
we just thank you for your discernment and your wisdom from both King to bring this prayer request forward, but also for discerning on who to bring this raid to, Lord. And although a raid seems like a weird thing to pray for, we know that you use all things for the good of your people, Lord. And so
Yes.
we just thank you for even this small thing that they could make Hannah happy. And we just pray for her, whatever she has going on, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it is,
Mm.
all that it is, that you would just move in all of it, that you would heal it, that you would allow us to be your hands and feet and your mouth for anything that we can do to make to help her, Lord. And we thank you for the light that Hannah is, and that you would encourage her to keep being that light for whoever she comes in contact with, and that you would remind her that she is enough, not because of anything that she has done or can do, but because what you have done, Lord. And we just thank you so much. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Amen.
And we have one more.
Oh, we have
So
more. Okay.
Dino, sorry. Prayer sometimes takes a while. Because I'm a yapper, even in prayer. So Dino says that I fully get over this sickness. So yes, Lord, we lift up our hugging friend Dino, who we are
Hmm.
blessed to know, and hopefully we'll see at Reach. We just thank you so much for Dino and the gift that they are, the community, the warm heart that they have, and the way they long to love and be loved. And we just pray for healing, Lord, whatever sickness is going on, that you would heal
Yes.
them, so that they need to do whatever they need to do, whatever you've called them to do, and that they can do it with a thankful, grateful, and joyful heart. In Jesus' name. I also want to add that we lift up anything that somebody might be holding in the quiet of their heart, Lord, whether they believe in you or not. We know that you see them and that you hear them and that you know them. And we just pray that you move in whatever situation it is, for the good of your people and to glorify you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Awesome.
Okay, sorry.
No apologies. We need to
Okay.
pray. We need to pray. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do.
Great.
All right. So let's start the raid. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I'm starting. Boom.
Yay. All right,
So,
guys. So let's go be a positive space for Hannah because she's feeling kind of blue. And that's okay. We all do.
yep, we all do. I was feeling pretty blue yesterday.
Oh.
One of those things where, well, like my wife has been traveling. I've been traveling. It started, like the beginning of the month. It will be going all the way through November. So she's been gone. She's gone again. I was just at my mom's. I get back. I see her for one night, and then she's gone. And I was just like, I just was feeling like,
Yeah.
I'm
Miss
home.
her.
I'm home alone. So
Yeah. I'm home, but it doesn't feel like home.
it's exactly it. It didn't feel like home.
I
Like
get
here I
it.
am, and so, but
Yeah.
it is so great though that even in that, I know I have friends online that I can go and hang out with
Yeah.
and not be
Mm-hmm.
alone. So we're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that too. So good night, Cardinal. Bye, Nasiro. Bye, Dino. Thank you for the hug.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody, for all the
K-Man.
follows. Appreciate you all. Thank you for spending time with me, PreePonee. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Okay,
Absolutely.
guys, I like you and I love you, but Jesus loves you more. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.